The microphone's on. Whoops. You guys might have heard some noise. That was a hot mic moment there. Probably heard me breathing and moving around my office. Whoops. I saw the microphone bar start bouncing and I was like, oh no. Oh no. Anyways, how's it going, everyone? I'm on time. Can you believe that? I walked Rocky early. Got stuff out of the way I needed to do. Got my energy potion ready to go. I was up too late working on the video I just uploaded. And then had a fairly busy day at work, so need my energy potion. Heard me having a drink. Yeah. I hope you didn't hear anything else. Hey, what's up, Mori Takanashi? I'm guessing that's still your name. Happy Pride Day. Yeah, it is the start of Pride Month. So, if you celebrate, that's awesome. Work fun stuff. Actually, it's kind of funny. There was a guy, one of my customers, was mad at an order being $10,000 because it was going to be 16 weeks to get him the item he wanted. So I found him something faster, but it ended up costing him $18,000. He said that's too expensive. Well, I gave him a third option, which was like the premium item, and it was $30,000. And he said, okay, I'll buy that one. I was like, wait, hang on, 18 grand was too much money, but I offer you something that's almost twice as much, and you go for it. Okay, all right, cool, all right. So yeah, it was busy handling stuff like that. Hey, what's up, King Spawn? Welcome to the stream. I've never done one of these before, but I see a lot of other streamers, a lot of other VTubers make tier lists, and I've submitted myself to be judged on plenty of other tier lists before as like a networking kind of thing, like, hey, what do you think about me kind of thing. So hey, what's up, Usagi Jojo? I am doing great. I hope you're doing well. It's the Queen's Platinum Jubilee next week. I don't know what that means, but sounds like it could be a fun celebration. What's up, Daigera? Because of the premium allure of the part? Yeah, I guess, maybe. Making tier lists is really, really fun. Well, I've also been trying to think of other things that I can do besides just sit here for 3 hours and play, Elden Ring again. So I have some other games I'm working on too that we'll do. We'll sprinkle into the schedules coming up, and of course there's a lot of collabs coming up this month. A big one on Friday. I'll be on a Hollywood Squares style VTuber, a Hollywood Squares style game show, but it's VTubers instead as a contestant. So that's what's going on Friday. Queen of England, she will have ruled for 70 years. Oh, wow. Does that, how, she's got to be like 90 then. Actually, how old is the Queen of England? How do I type in Google? '96. Oh my gosh. Well, good for her. 70 years on the throne. And 96 years on the planet. What a boss. You wouldn't expect English nobles to have good genetics, but I'd say living to 96 is pretty good. Elite Dangerous one-off? Okay, I've been told about Elite Dangerous a lot. Maybe I should play this. Spaceflight simulation game? Oh, Yeah, I can bust out the I have a, what do you call it? Like a flight stick controller that plugs in by USB. I've wanted to use it for Tom Clancy's Hawks, and I've wanted to use it for Ace Combat. I got Star Wars Squadrons gifted to me, and I thought that would be another stream to bust it out on. And sure, let's throw Elite Dangerous in there, and I could play all the flight sim games. Heck yeah. Oh my god. It's a 2-day bank holiday? Oh, you guys know how to celebrate a national holiday by giving 2 days off. Oh man. Not even the birth of our country is more than a whole day. Talking 4th of July coming up 1 month away. One of my favorite holidays. Good time spent with family and stuff. Mostly. Though COVID's kind of put a damper on it the last couple of years, so hopefully my family can get together this year. We'll see, we'll see. Speaking of holidays, I had this sentiment all day running around in my head. It's only every 10 years. That's fair, that's fair. We just had Memorial Day weekend, so it's a 3-day weekend. I was like, okay, so my favorite thing about a 3-day weekend is it's a 3-day weekend, right? But my second favorite thing about the 3-day weekend is the 4-day work week that comes after, because you skip Monday, which is the worst day. Tuesday feels like Monday, right? And then today was Wednesday. And you're halfway done. There's no extra day to be like, oh, I just got to get through one more day and it's the weekend. No. You're almost there. Tomorrow is Thursday, the most productive day, right? Because it's like, oh, I got to get all this stuff done before the weekend. Friday, that's a piece of cake. Everyone's already mentally checked out for Friday. Places close early. People go home from work early. You're already thinking about how late you're going to sleep in on Saturday if your dog lets you. Yesterday sucked, but otherwise this week has been fantastic. Especially since like I said, I sold something for like twice as much as the original cost. My town considers the work week Tuesday through Saturday. So many places are closed on Monday and Sunday. That's really interesting. I couldn't work like that. Everyone I work with is a Monday to Friday. Though I am kind of jealous of some of the places that I call on that are like, oh yeah, 2 o'clock, we're done here. I'm like, you only work 8 to 2? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, awesome. That's fantastic. Oh man. Considering it's still America. Yeah, that's the thing, is to have a town in America. I don't want you to tell me where you live, but anywhere in America that's not operating on the Monday to Friday is interesting to me. Alright, sorry. I made a weird face scratching my nose. This tracking. Okay. Alright. I have some music for the stream because I won't have any gameplay to carry us. So to prevent it from being too quiet. Oh, that might be too loud. I have Lofi Girl radio. Lo-fi hip-hop beats to study / relax / make a tier list with. Okay, and then if I did everything earlier... Hey, how about that? It saved all my work. It looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. Alright. If the music is too loud, let me know. If it's too quiet, I'll turn it up a little, but hopefully it's not too loud. That won't be copyright strike? Nope, not if it's Lofi Girl. I credited them in the description, and it's supposed to be DMCA free, all of it. Every once in a while, I have to fight it, but I usually win, so not a big deal. All right, I figured 10 minutes is a good enough pre-stream, right? Though I might have to get Rocky a TRATS to occupy him. Actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to go do. I will be right back. I'm going to get Rocky something to occupy him because he's pretty anxious. and then we'll start. I'm sorry. Give me like 2 minutes, maybe. I'll be right back. Okay, let me start over. Put some peanut butter in his toy that should occupy him for a while. Forgot to unmute myself. Here is the tier list. I think it's 4, 8 rows of 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, and 1. So, there's a lot of Elden Ring tier lists I saw on the tier maker website. And a lot of them were just, oh, hey, how about the demigods? Do you want to rank those? Hey, do you want to rank the great enemies? Or just the remembrance bosses? And I was like, nope. I found the one that has everyone. Or, oh gosh, what movie is it where Gary Oldman screams, everyone? The Professional with, Keira Knightley and Leon something French. I don't remember his last name. Good movie. Yeah, so we have every boss. Alright, I got my energy potion. Let's take a quick sip. Kind of funny that my cheeks puff up every time I take a drink, so you guys will know. Alright. Let us start. Can you guys... Are the symbols too small? Should I be pulling up pictures of everyone? Actually, I don't know how easy it would be to pull up pictures of the bosses. Where's my... Whoop, whoop. Okay. Okay. Well, it's alphabetical. I hope that's an okay way to go through it. It'll be kind of up and down through the story. The tiers that I have, we have amazing. So this would be like the 5 out of 5. Some of the best bosses. I would fight these guys again and again. Great. I'd say well-designed bosses, pretty cool thematically, or I like their fight, or I like their presentation. Okay. I'd say it's a boss, and I don't hate them. Meh. A lot of the bosses are probably going to fall under meh, because a lot of the ones on here are like duplicates or repeats, or like, okay, so for example, they have the Crucible Knight. Okay, you fought a Crucible Knight. Now how about double Crucible Knights? You know, so then there's the Godskin Noble and the Godskin Apostle, and then the Godskin Duo. So it's like, okay, so I fought 2 guys instead of 1 guy. I think the Gargoyles, there's double Gargoyles as well. Yeah, the Valiant Gargoyles. Bleh. So a lot of them will probably fall under there. Bad. Okay, so bad are bosses that just don't feel like a boss. Bosses that I hate playing against. or I just don't like their design. And I think that's a fair way to judge everything. It's a scale of 1 to 5, pretty easy to figure out. All right, so we're gonna start with Adon, Thief of Fire. I believe this is in one of the Ever jails in Liurnia. And he has one of the legendary sorceries or incantations that you need for the achievement. He's wearing fat armor. I think he wears Lionel's armor and a whip, and then he just throws fireballs at you. I'm just gonna put him under okay. The Tarnish fights are kind of fun because they follow the same mechanics as the player. So you can parry them, you can backstab them, they'll heal themselves. I like the fights with other Tarnish characters because it also shows you they use weapons and items that you can get in the game, and it shows you different builds. Like Alberek, he is on here because he's not technically a boss, but he's really cool because he invades you in the Round Table Hold, and he shows you the power of bleed, cold, and sorceries as an invader early on. You think Kingspawn says he should be in Meh tier. It's because he's too easy. Like, he only has, like, 2 gimmicks, which is, like, a whip attack and a fireball. I think he's okay. He actually has decent loot. Well, I don't even know if the spell he has is really good. I just know the spell he has is required for an achievement. So, for whatever reason, they thought Adon, Thief of Fire was important enough to put here to give that achievement, lock the achievement to that guy. And of course we can just come back and move these around. Actually, now I feel like I'm getting tainted by reading Kingspawn. Now I'm starting to talk myself into, you know what, maybe he is a meh fight. Not that interesting. No, not any lore behind him too. Not an interesting presentation. Oh, he's not bad, so we'll just put him in meh. Alright. I talked myself into it by reading by wanting to agree with chat. Okay, then I'll put Alabaster Lord in okay. Yeah, peer pressure. The Alabaster Lords, I think, are really cool. So the lore is they're a race of people that landed on the planet or the world from a meteor a long time ago. They brought gravity magic. And the gravity stuff's kind of cool. Like, they'll knock you away or they'll suction you in. Their swords are kind of cool too. They're strength int swords though, so I've never really played with them. And I can't spend a whole lot of time because there's like 100 bosses, so. But I don't want to just zip through them. Okay. Electo, Black Knife Ringleader. So you fight a lot of Black Knife assassins in the game. And I think each time you fight them, as you progress down the story, they have more and more abilities. And Electo, being the ringleader, she has all the powers. And she drops Teach's ashes. Go with my gut feeling. I think Electo falls under okay. So she's she's the Black Knife boss. She's the hardest of all the Black Knives. She has the laser beam attack. She has the really powerful, like, I'm gonna call it the miniature waterfowl dance, because if you don't time your dodge properly, or if you don't space your dodge, she's gonna annihilate you, because her attacks will reduce your maximum HP. Her attacks will also what is it? Her attacks will also, they apply a damage over time effect. She kind of Moomy. She is a mommy, right? Is that what you're trying to say, Yusri? Yeah, I'll put her under okay. Invisible One is bad. We haven't gotten to the Invisible One yet. I don't even know if the Invisible One is on here. Maybe they just have the Black Knife Assassin normally. Okay, Ancestor Spirit. You meant mommy. Yeah, her and Titch, however you say their names. They're tall mommies. You don't get Electo's spirit. She drops her daughter's ashes that you can use as a spirit summon. And if you read the ashes, it explains that Tiche died as they were making their escape, and Electo ran and hid with her. Okay. Ancient Dragon Lanciex. Okay, so I didn't like the dragon fights. All of the dragon fights felt like it was the same strategy. Get on horseback, get on their legs or on their wings and smack them a whole bunch and then dodge the fire. I'm not saying it's bad because I enjoyed the dragon fights and some of the fights from horseback are pretty cool, but there's so many dragons and the only difference is what type of breath attack are you getting hit with. Are you getting cold? Are you getting glintstone? Are you getting rot? Or are you getting fire? Wait, hang on, no. I might be getting my dragons mixed up. I think this one hits you with the red lightning, right? Hang on. Is this the one you meet in Lindale or Altus Plateau? Oh, okay, never mind. All right. The ancient dragons are bad. They don't have their targeting is different than the regular dragons that I originally thought this one was. For whatever reason, Lanciex, the one that you Fortisax, and not Placidusix, but the other dragons that you fight in the Crumbling Ferrum Azula, you can only target their head and their body, but you can't target the legs. And it messes up because the rest of them are moving around, and it's just so easy to sit on, between the legs and whack on the ankles to kill the dragons. So by not having the ability to lock onto the ankles just makes it an unnecessarily tough fight. Like, it's easier to fight these dragons without using lock on, but I feel like that's so counterintuitive when they're the only enemy, I think, that does that. Hey, what's up, Derek? Welcome to the stream. Ancient Heroes Zamor. I'm putting under meh. This you fight in the Everjail and the Weeping Peninsula. I think this is the right one. I have Fextra Life up on another tab to double check. Yeah. Okay, so you actually fight 3 of these. Weeping Peninsula, Hero's Grave in the Mountaintop of the Giants, and a Sainted Hero's Grave in the Altus Plateau. I don't think I found that one. Yeah. Jumps around, uses ice magic, but the fact that it's reused 3 times and then it becomes a regular enemy, I don't feel it being like it's that cool of a boss. Astel, natural. I'm probably going to put both Astels under great. One of them drops the sword in the set. Yeah, I think that's the one in the Mountaintops of the Giants. The Giant Conquering Hero's Grave. I did not complete that one on stream. I completed that one on one of my other playthroughs off stream. Yeah, I'm surprised that they have the 2 Astels broken up here, because I think they fight exactly the same, but one you fight at the end of Ronnie's questline, and the other one you fight in the Consecrated Snowfields. But Astel is really cool, really creepy. Really the only thing you fight that's close to it are the incomplete Astels, which just hang down from the ceiling and they spew the rocks at you. But the skull with the mandible and the eyeball in the forehead of the skull, like, oh, it's so weird looking. They shoot laser beams. They have the nebula attacks, so all the stars and galaxy looking stuff. Really cool boss with the presentation, and I don't think you fight anything else with similar mechanics. Plus, they're so otherworldly. Besides the Falling Star beasts, I can't think of I mean, everything else just looks like a person or an animal, right? I'm looking at this list real quick. Except the Elden Beast. You don't fight anything else that looks quite like them. I think they're pretty unique in that regard. So I'm putting both Astels up there. Yeah, can't think of anything else to add on to them. But they're definitely great. The reason why I would say that they're amazing is they're a little frustrating to fight. Like, I don't think the fight is perfect. Like, if you go Unga Bunga, they have the shockwave attack, which you actually can get as an Art of War, as the remembrance reward. But I don't think there's an easy way to dodge it. And maybe I'm just dumb and I'm not realizing. But it feels like if you try to fight him as an Unga Bunga, you're going to get it. You just have to face tank a lot of hits. But he's so fragile that in both forms, that you'll just kill him eventually. And he also kind of punishes summons. I think on stream, there was one time I walked out and I rang my little summoning bell, ding-a-ling, and tried to bring out the Mimic Tier, which takes 700 HP away from you to summon the Mimic Tier. And he immediately just punishes me with, boom, laser beam. I was like, oh, I'm dead. Because I did damage to myself summoning a Mimic Tier. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to hit you with the laser beam right off the bat. Pow. Battle Mage Hughes. Putting him under meh. He's an Everjail fight in Caelid, but you fight the Battle Mages as normal enemies in the Altus Plateau and the Halig Tree. I mean, he's kind of cool. Battle Mages are cool. You get his ashes at the end of the fight, but I don't know. I don't like, again, I'm not super thrilled with, hey, here's a boss and then it becomes a regular enemy. It does kind of like help to show the growth of your character, to be like, hey, you go from, fighting like the ancient heroes more early on in the Weeping Peninsula, and then later on in the consecrated snowfields, they're patrolling around like normal guys. It's like, oh, okay, so now I have to be able to fight 1, 2, or 3 of them at a time. So I'll put Beastman of Farum Azula down there. Hey, what's up, Sarah? Welcome to the stream. Again, it's a boss fight that turns into a regular enemy. The Beastman of Farum Azula, I think that's one of the caves in Caelid that you run into him. Well, yeah, it'd have to be in Caelid because the crumbling Farum Azula is not far off. Again, not a super thrilling fight. Becomes a regular enemy. And it's just an enemy with a big sword. So it's dodge the big telegraphed attacks and then punish him. Bell-bearing Hunter. I'm going to put him at okay. I like the design of Elamir and the Bell-bearing Hunters. Oh, Elamir of the Briars in here. Hey, what's up, Fififona? Just checking in on my lunch break. Glad I could catch a bit. Hey, thank you so much, Sarah. There's a Beastman fight in the cave near the Gatefront ruins. Oh, I forgot about that one. The one in Caelid, I think you fight 2 Beastmen at the same time. And then the one in Gatefront, you only fight one of them. Yeah, I don't think that changes my opinion. I still think it's just one of those, hey, we'll throw a late game enemy at you as a boss. Where was that? Bell-bearing Hunter. The Bell-bearing Hunter, though, I feel like, kind of like the Deathbird, if you're not, and the Night Cavalry, well, the Night Cavalry are a little bit more easier to predict because you'll see them patrolling and they only show up at night. The Bell-bearing Hunter, he only shows up at night, but he only shows up at certain grace spots. And if you don't know which ones ahead of time, it can kind of be like a beginner's trap. I do like, it's kind of like NPC invasion, so I like that aspect of them. I like the aspect of the sword that you can control, telekinetically. Like, you don't have to, like, the sword doesn't stay in his hand the whole fight. I mean, I finished the game with the Executioner sword, which uses the weapon art where you throw out the sword and it does the drill attack. So I do really like the design of them. The rewards that you get from the Bell-bearing Hunters are pretty good because they drop a bell bearing. that you can take back to the husk in the Round Table Hold, and then you can get items which I think are like meats and feathers and bones, so you don't have to go farming as much. The animals, at least, you can just buy it with runes. But I'm not putting them as great because they are a little bit of a difficulty spike. At least they felt like early on when I had the one that kept ganking me at the Church of Vows where Muriel is. And it was kind of annoying, to be honest. Black Blade, Kindred. I'm going to put under okay. This is the gargoyle that's out front of the Beast Sanctum where you find Garunk and you can give him the death root. It's just a gargoyle fight. Actually, you know what, maybe under meh, because I don't like the gargoyles a whole lot. The gargoyles, like the death bird, if you do manage to break their poise, their bodies are so... What, you probably answered this already, but what's the tier list based on? Difficulty, looks. I'm judging them not quite on difficulty. It's a matter of presentation, difficulty, and I don't know, I guess if they're fun to fight or not. You know, if there's a gimmick or a mechanic to it or something. I'm not going strictly by difficulty, because I would rescale this if I was going by difficulty. I'd put these guys, you know, Electo and Bell-Bearing Hunter would be up there with some of the most difficult bosses I've faced. Crucible Knight up there. No, it's just overall, I think their overall general presentation in the game of Elden Ring, if that's fair. Should tier lists be more specialized? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I need to dial in. Okay, so gargoyles. Not a fan of the gargoyle fights. They cover a lot of distance. And I guess this is probably my fault for playing mostly characters that want to smack stuff with melee weapons. But I hate it when a monster, especially a monster with wings or a boss with wings, just gets up and moves over here. And then I have to spend an entire stamina bar, you know, to chase after him. Just to get back to... It's not like I have to time dodges or anything like that. I just have to close distance. And because they jump and they fly and land on different terrain, it's weird because it'll skew their height. So if you try to break their poise and go for a critical attack, your character might not be where their head is, or you need to press R1 to initiate the critical attack animation. And then instead your character's like, oh, I'll just bonk him one time and take him out of the animation. So I don't like the gargoyles for that. And they're kind of tough. And if I'm not wrong, they're probably immune to a lot of statuses, so that also feels bad. Black Knife Assassin. I'm going to put under okay. Definitely very difficult early on. But they do hit stun easily, so there are ways where you can just knock them out of their attacks. Bloodhound Knight Darrowell. So I'm going to break from where I normally say, okay, this guy becomes a regular enemy later. You don't fight a whole lot of Bloodhound Knights, even though they do make a couple of appearances later on. Gotta clock back in. Always a treat to catch you. Give Rocky some pets. He is right here. I will pet him for you. There you go, buddy. That's from Sarah. Have a good rest of your day at work, Sarah. Thanks for stopping by. The Bloodhound Knights, I think they're really cool. The bestial appearance kind of reminds me of what were those knights? Oh, I can't remember the name of them. The Legion of Knights that you fight in Dark Souls 3 kind of remind me of that. They have the same armor, the same sword. They fight in a unique style that's different than everyone else. And it's a little bit bestial while still being humanoid. I think there's only like 2 other Bloodhound Knights you fight, so it's not like they get reused a whole lot. Oh no, 3. I can think of 3 ones that aren't Darrowell. But you get their claw, their sword, and their armor. The Outriders? No, they were They were one of the ones that were required for the ending. They had one of the flames. Oh my god, why can't I remember them? The Undead Legion? The Undead Legion of Farron. Yeah, the Farron Knights. That's what I was thinking of. But I guess that's not what they're called. They're called the Undead Legion. No, those guys are cool. What was their weapon called? The Abyss Watchers. Okay, it was the Abyss Watchers, and they have, you get the Soul, the Blood, and the Wolf, which you can get the Farron Greatsword or the Wolf Knight's Greatsword. So the Wolf Knight's Greatsword was Artorias' sword, and the Farron Greatsword was their sword with the Greatsword and dagger pair. Okay. No, not the guys changed by Pontus Ring. I meant the guys that go insane and they fight each other over and over and over and over and over again in Dark Souls 3. And then they fight you. I like to call bosses coming back as a common enemy the Gertie Jr. effect. Why do you call it the Gertie Jr. effect? The Bloodhound Knights, I don't think, come back as a super common enemy. There's one you fight in Caelid, there's one you fight in Mount Gelmir, and... oh my god. Where's the third one? Why is this slipping my mind? There's Caelid, where you fight one near the jail. Mount Gelmir behind the hidden wall. I swear you fight another one. Oh, then there's another one that's in one of the catacombs. That's right. Okay. 3 of them. Alright, Bulls, Carrion Knight. Putting him under meh. It's one of the troll mages that you fight. You only fight a couple of them, I think, in Carrion Manor. They're not a super recurring guy, but a troll's a troll. You hit him in the knees, they fall down, you're critical to face. Dodge the big sweeping sword attacks and the AoE stomps. Borealis, the freezing fog. Meh. I said this earlier. The dragon fights are very similar. I don't think the strategy changes going into the dragon's fight. And again, this is probably my mistake of playing Unga Bunga characters. But it just felt like run in, hit them in the ankles. They get up, they fly away. You chase them down, dodge the breath attack. The breath attack can be fire, ice, rot, or magic. So the elemental changes, but it's still a breath weapon, right? I say breath weapon, that comes from D&D, I think. And you just keep smacking them, and then they die. And they're kind of cool fights, because I do like I kind of liked... I'm weirdly dialing back because I remember fighting the Tree Sentinel at the very, very beginning of the playthrough, and I thought it was really, really awesome to have the fight from horseback. But now that I think about it, fighting from horseback is boring as hell. You have 2 attacks. Attack left side of the horse or attack right side of the horse. Actually, sorry. 4 attacks. Light attack, right side. Left attack... light attack left side, light attack right side, heavy left or heavy right, and jump. And then dodge, but it doesn't even have any iframes. So, thematically, the horseback fights are kind of cool, but after fighting the Tree Sentinel, and then the Draconic Tree Sentinel outside of the capital, and then all the dragons, it's just like, it's just so similar. They don't really stand out. Cemetery Shade. I'm gonna... you fight this one a bunch of times, though. But it's kind of cool, because I don't think you fight it as a normal enemy. It's just a recurring boss in some of the dungeons. And it's creepy. It is definitely creepy, because those things on its head, it grabs your face with. You done 0 boss fights on horseback? You fought the tree sentinel in the beginning of the game, not on horseback, but on your feet? What? Were you a mage or something? That's the only way I could think of doing it. Yeah, I'm gonna put the cemetery shade slightly higher, because it's a recurring boss, but it doesn't. What, do you disagree? What do you think, Rocky? He says, "Give me more peanut butter." I'm gonna put it under okay. I don't know. But I look at everything else I've put under okay, and I'm like, does it stack up to these other bosses? And I'm like, not really, because it's kind of easy. Alright. Did I skip the Ancestor Spirit? How did I do that? Oh, Gertie Jr. is a boss in Binding of Isaac in the basement that becomes a common enemy by the depths. Yeah, I do. Okay, I do remember from Binding of Isaac. Yeah. It's been a while since I've played it. The name doesn't ring a bell. Is it the worm? Oh. No, Gertie is the pile. Okay. I don't know it comes back as a regular enemy. Or maybe I just haven't played recently to remember what the common one looks like. I did the Tree Sentinel on foot, used the wolf summons, but other than that, just early game gear in the teens. Did I use a summon on the Tree Sentinel? I don't even remember. The Ancestor Spirit. So there's 2 of these giant ghostly mooses that you fight in the underground area. Kind of cool to unlock them, because it requires you to light a whole bunch of torches, and then you go and interact with their corpse, and then it takes you to an arena where you fight them. The presentation is pretty, almost like Astel, but I don't remember them being... You think they're under great? I'm not putting a whole lot of things under great, so I could bump it up. It's meh for you. Also, what's up, David? It was the gurglings. Okay. I'm gonna split the difference and just keep it at okay. They're easy to fight, but the design was good. Yeah, they were kind of easy to fight, but they were kind of cool. I like seeing the ghostly spirits come off the horns. And it kind of had some... I mean, there's only 2 of them. They don't get reused. Clean Rot Knight, or dropping under meh. You fight these as regular enemies later on. Not anything special. Oh, here we go. Commander Niall. This is the one you fight in Castle Sol. You like how I just, like, Clean Rot Knight, bam, meh, move on? I fought so many Clean Rot Knights to farm so many Clean Rot armor sets because I really, really wanted the spear. And then I never used the spear. Commander Niall. This is the ice and lightning guy. He has the 2 ghostly knights when you enter in the arena. They aren't even really bosses. No, not really. I don't think I liked his boss fight. He's really tough. He has a lot of huge AoE attacks, so it makes it hard to, like, cycle around behind him and attack him from behind, because he's gonna charge his prosthetic with lightning and kick it into the ground, and boom, like instant AoE attack around him. And if it's not that, then he's going to swing his spear around, and it's going to create a cold wave around him. But he is unique. I think him and O'Neil, because they're similar characters, him, O'Neil, and Renala, I think are the only characters that actually have a summon. I mean, some bosses have like looking ahead here, Eskar, Priest of Blood. He starts with a couple of dogs with him. But these guys actually like use the summon mechanics, so they're kind of like you in that regard, which is kind of unique. Okay at best. The knights make him a good boss. It is interesting because it does give you a divide and conquer. Then I guess O'Neil should probably go into the same spot. O'Neil you can fight from horseback. I think I fought O'Neil from horseback when I first did him. His moveset is a little bit easier to deal with. I felt like he was easier to deal with than Neil. Maybe if you could fight Commander O'Neil on top of the castle with the horse, but that doesn't make sense. But I thought O'Neil was okay, but Neil was a pain in the butt. But they're too similar that I don't think I could split the tier on them. I'll put O'Neil ahead of Neil. How about that? Rocky just keeps putting toys in my lap. Crucible Knight and Crucible Knight Ordovis. This is the double Crucible Knight fight. So flippin' hard. Like, summons don't even help you with this fight because your summon is just gonna get obliterated by one while you're trying to deal with the other one. I hate Crucible Knights in general because besides being parry bait, they're resistant to every status effect. I think they're resistant to every element effect, and they're resistant to every weapon type except strike, so you can only really smack them around with hammers. I used the summon just to have enough time to kill one. I went back at a level 150 with the Great Stars on the Strength Arcane character that I beat the game with. So I had this giant two-handed hammer, and that was the only way I was able to beat these guys, but I came back at level 150 in order to pummel them into the ground. And just as you said, David, I had to summon a Mimic tier to tank one while I dealt with the other one. Now, normally Crucible Knights, they're easy as heck to parry. But when you're fighting two of them, you can't chain the parries. Like, you come out of the critical animation, and the other one's already got a big AoE attack he's smacking with you with as soon as the iframes from the animation drop off. Let's see. Crucible Knight Siluria. Which one is Siluria? Anything special, or is she a she? I'm guessing a she. They. Where do you fight them? Oh, you fight them in the Deep Root Depths. The spear one. Did that one have an HP? Oh, it did have an HP bar. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it is in the Fia underground area. You're right. Yeah. One Crucible Knight I'll put at meh level. Because at least it's a fight, you know? When you're dealing with two of them, it's just unnecessarily difficult. Crystallians. Oh, do I put them under meh or bad? And this says S, so this is the plural. Man, I hated fighting the triple Crystallian fights. Because I think there's multiples. And they become regular enemies in some areas too. First Crucible Knight at like level 20 plus was good for the first time you encounter him. Yeah, you encounter one in Stormvale Castle, but he's kind of hidden away. You have to go through like a secret pathway to get to him. But that, I mean, that's like intimidating as hell because it's like, oh my god, he's blocking the way. Do I run past him or do I fight to the death against this Crucible Knight? Especially if you fought the Crucible Knight that's in the Everjail, because I spent like 30 deaths. Rocky. I spent like 30 deaths on the one in the Everjail. I didn't realize that he was like immune to bleed, so I'm putting like bleed grease on my weapon, and I'm trying all sorts of stuff to try to beat this guy. Like throwing fire pots at him too. I was like, oh my god, just please die. And then on my other playthroughs, I was like, oh, put a buckler in my offhand. Wapow. Good parry practice. But that was about it. Yeah, one Crucible Knight is an okay fight. You dodge the dragon aspect abilities, you dodge the unparryable attacks, and then you parry the other attacks. But I don't know if there's anything I would compare them to in the other Dark Souls games. They're just big, beefy, hard-hitting knights. They have good AI. They punish you for, like, every time you go to chug, they're going to do that lunging stab attack that covers a crap ton of distance. Yeah, one-on-one they're fine. The double sucks. Crystallians, very similar to the Crucible Knights. They take no damage from a lot of stuff until their poise breaks, and then it's like they shattered and then they're real easy. But their movesets are the exact same. They become regular enemies later on. And that spear one, oh my god, is the spear one not the most annoying Crystallian there is? It does the jumping lunge, jumping lunge, jumping lunge, jumping lunge, and it doesn't stop. You spend all your stamina trying to get away from jump-da-doo, jump-da-doo, jump-da-doo. And oh my god. So the whole time that one's doing this perfect stab attack at you, then you have the one with the ring throwing that at you, and then the one with the staff is sitting back and like, oh, I'm gonna cover the whole area in star shards. The super armor is most annoying until you break them. They're pushovers. They're just so annoying. They get reused a lot. I don't like them. Okay, Deathrite Bird. I hate the Deathrite Bird. I'm putting it under bad. The terrain you fight him on sucks because he flies away from you, which also sucks. I switched to the Great Mace specifically for them. One of my offline playthroughs, I used the Morning Star almost exclusively until I got the Bolt of Grandsax in the capital. But the Morning Star made quick work of them. And I had another character I used. I actually don't know what I used on her. She was a dexterity character. Maybe I used a flail. But yeah, use a striking weapon. But then now you're just talking about, okay, these guys are gimmicks. Like, you use a strike weapon, you hit them a couple times, break their poise, then they're easy. And then if you don't have a strike weapon available to you in your build, then it's just like, ugh. I have another character. I haven't played him a lot. I have a lot of characters. We're starting another one tonight, maybe. Dagger only? Trying to fight the Crystallians? Oh, you have to two-hand your dagger to do enough poise damage to break that, like, hyper armor that they have before then you can actually damage them normally. Oh my god. Deathrite Bird. Flies around the arena, so you have to chase them. That sucks. Huge AoE attacks that do a ton of damage that suck. Even fighting him at like level 100, 125, closer to 150, they it has this AoE attack. I mean, it spends forever. I mean, it's super telegraphed. It's like, okay, it's like Goku charging the Spirit Bomb. It's, all right, I'm going to draw in all the death energy around me. And at that point, you're like, all right, I'm untargeting and running the other direction from you. But because you fight it on this mountain, at this mountain cliff, you can get like kind of trapped against the wall, or you just can't get away from it sometimes. And then it shoots this huge AoE attack that'll almost one-hit kill you, and if you survive the area of effect attack, it puts all this fire on the ground. But it's light blue fire on white snow, so it's kind of a little hard to see. And then, oh, okay, I survived the attack, I roll, and oh, I touched fire, I died. And the fire does a ton of damage too, so even if you don't roll away, you dodge the you survive the blast, dodge the fire, chug, and then you get hit by another death fire attack. I was like, like weird hitbox too, because he's like all lanky and skinny too. So the head's the weak spot, but good luck hitting the head because it's bobbing and weaving and pecking at you and trying to swallow you and stuff. And then otherwise you're going for this tiny body and legs. I get, you know, maybe I hated it so much because Unga Bunga build, but not fun. The one that drops Death's Poker. I don't know where the Death's Poker one drops. I know the one in the Weeping Peninsula drops the Sacrificial Axe, and I know that's a pretty good weapon, but and they're kind of like the Bell-Bearing Hunter, where it's like they show up at certain spots and only at night, but I don't think they're telegraphed like the Knight's Cavalry. Oh, Caelid. Yeah, there is one in Caelid. Oh my god, I hate them. The Knight's Cavalry, they stick to the roads, they only show up at night, and you'd have a hard time to run into them accidentally, but the Bell-Bearing Hunter, he shows up at certain graces that you want to go to, and the Deathbirds, they show up at night at really random spots, and you can't see them coming, so it's like, oh, it's night, and I'm, you know, oh, I better watch out for the Deathbird. I don't think every area has a Deathbird. I think there's 3 or 4 of them total in the game. You have, what, twice as many Knights Cavalry? I think every area has a Knights, at least one Knights Cavalry, because I think there's 2 in Liurnia of the Lakes. I don't know. Maybe if I knew more about the Deathbird, I'd appreciate it more. Decaying Exekies. Putting under meh. It's another dragon fight. It uses Rotten Breath instead of Ice Breath or Fire Breath or Magic Breath. I don't. Otherwise, it's another dragon. Demi-Human Chiefs goes under meh, because I think those become regular enemies. Not a common regular enemy, but you fight them without HP bars. Demi-Human Queen. This is the one you fight on Mount Gelmir. I'm putting her at okay for a couple of reasons. There's some interesting lore in the area about a bunch of sorcerers who would pledge themselves to being nomads, and they'd go out to other places and teach magic. So you find that on one of the glintstone heads in the village. And then her boss fight is kind of cool, because you fight her, she uses magic, she has the regular demi-humans that run up on you and zerg you down, so a lot of ads that come in, and then you have the glintstone sorcerers on the edges of the arena also casting magic in you, in and at you. And at the whole end of that fight, you get the green guys. You find the way to the green guy's body. I think he's still alive, but that continues Selen's quest line. You can get his armor set. I think you can. Does he drop his spell at that point too? Is that Lusat or is it the other one? I think that's Lusat. I'm gonna double check on Fexter Life. No, Lusat is the blue one. Oh crap, what's the green one's name? Is it just Azur? Oh. Yep. Alright, Primeval Sorcerer Azur. The Hermit Village. I thought Azur was the blue one. That's my bad. Okay, Draconic Tree Sentinel. I think I'll put him at okay. So you fight the Tree Sentinel early, and you go, okay, I know what the Tree Sentinel is like. Oh, actually, I think you fight the... By the time you get to the Draconic Tree Sentinel, you fight one Tree Sentinel, and then you fight the double Tree Sentinels. Then you come up on one Tree Sentinel, and you're like, oh, okay, I fought one, I fought double, I could fight one. Until he starts doing the red lightning stuff. And he has one attack where he points his shield up and goes like, ka-choom! And if you don't dodge right when his shield does like a recoil animation, like a shotgun, the lightning bolt like one hit kills you. So you have to have like the perfect dodge timing on this guy. And his horse shoots fireballs too, I think. Or at least his horse spits fire. So I like Draconic Tree Sentinel because it's like, all right, I fought Tree Sentinels, but then like, boom, they hit you with a curveball. It's like, no, this one's got red lightning and fire. This isn't like any other. This isn't your grandpa's Tree Sentinel. This is the Draconic Tree Sentinel. I like the fight, all right. Definitely difficult, but he gets reused later on. Right in front of Malekith, right? Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella, and then the Dragonkin Soldier. You fight that one in Nokron, I believe. And then there's another one you fight in the Lake of Rot. Do arrows resupply if I go to a Lost Grace site? If you have enough, you have to have arrows in storage to resupply the ones that you have. Otherwise, you have to craft or buy them or find them off of enemies. The only drawback to arrows. But they do apply status elements, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I think you can only carry 99 arrows at a time. If you used all 99, and you have more in backup in your... what do you call it? Storage, I guess. Then if you rest at a grace site, it'll replenish from your inventory, your backup inventory. But no, this one, the Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. This one uses the Ice Lightning attacks, so it's different than the regular Dragonkin Soldier. All right, I'll put this might be the only time I can think of where I'll split between tiers on the dragon fights, the Dragonkin fights, because the one in Noxtella, it uses Ice Lightning, which is really cool, and I think it drops an Ice Lightning spell for you, but I never used it. This one that you fight in Nokron drops the Ice Lightning Halberd, but it doesn't do ice and lightning damage. You actually have to... Excuse me, you have to use the weapon art to get the Ice Lightning going. But that made this one, I think, a little bit cooler. Get it? Ice Lightning. And I think the one you fight in the Lake of Rot is just like the regular Dragonkin Soldier. It's nothing special. Enya has infinite stock of Radahn's arrows. She does. But I think they're like 600 or 800 runes apiece. Yeah, no problem, protagonist. Good luck. Alright, here we go. Dragon Lord Placidusax. Do I put him under amazing? Is this our first amazing boss? Or is he just great? Secret boss in the second to last area. Two-headed dragon. It had a third head, I think, that got cut off. Really cool. It has a cutscene to show him off. He was the Dragon Lord before there were Elden Lords, right? Or he was the first Elden Lord before it passed on to the Tarnished. So his lore is really cool. a bit off topic, but my YouTube recommendations has you next to the Unabomber's Manifesto audiobook. Well, I think recommendations are are tailored. So that's on you, not on me. That is a little weird though. Man, you remember when my channel got, when I was back in the day, and I was doing the Minecraft streams, and then my channel got recommended alongside all of the Minecraft Kids channels. That was really weird. This is a brand new account. Oh, I didn't think about that. I just saw the name and I was like, of course, I know who you are. And I was like, wait a second. It is a brand new account. Then maybe the Unabomber's Manifesto's trending? I don't see how. That's really strange. His teleport is annoying, but great design otherwise. Normally I would say a boss teleporting is annoying, but it's so cool how he does the teleporting swipe, or when he flies up. I am praising a boss that flies away from you. At least he flies up and away and then comes crashing down on you. You don't have to come towards him. But I do like how he turns into a storm cloud of red lightning, and you have to look up into the arena and you see him in the distance, and he gets bigger and bigger, and he's just pulsing with energy and just boom, comes crashing in. He becomes the storm clouds, yeah. I'll put Placidusax at amazing. Oh, the fire. Okay, he has two breath weapons too. He does like this regular like yellow breath, which just looks like yellow fire. But there's another phase where he starts breathing the regular yellow fire, and then it like focuses, and both heads turn into two laser beams, and they're just going, and it's just crisscrossing this huge giant arena. Oh, it's so cool. He has the Godzilla breath. Godzilla atomic breath. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to put Placidusax at amazing. You get his breath weapon as his remembrance, or you get the sword that lets you turn into a lightning cloud. Oh my god, his remembrances are so good. Also, he's involved in the really unique storyline of go get possessed by the Three Fingers, recover Michaela's needle, then go into the arena, fight him, purify yourself, and then take any other ending that's not the Three Fingers. Hey, what's up, Andy from Anleet's stream? Thank you, Anleet, for the raid. I hope Anleet had a good stream, or they were just doing a drive-by and saying hi. Elden Beast. I'm gonna put under great. I don't think the Elden Beast is amazing. Huge arena that you're fighting this thing in, and it very frequently either flies up and away to do an attack, or it flies away and away, and it does the sword laser, or there's, oh my god, it's got a lot of cool attacks, but it's not in thematic attacks. But I don't think it's like, I don't think it's a fun boss. Bloodborne feel a little bit, yeah, it is otherworldly. Maybe I'm just biased and I like the stuff that doesn't look normal. Hey, what's up, Angel Rays? Is being a magician good at the beginning of the game? I'm using Wretch to choose which build I'm wanting to go into. Magicians are pretty good because not a lot of stuff has magic resistance. So, right now I got points into Vigor, Endurance, and Strength. Uh-oh, hang on. I'm covering up the alert box. Who just subbed? Angel Rays, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Welcome to the workshop. I don't like Elden Beast. It runs away too often for me. It either runs away or it flies up into the air and does the Elden Ring attack. But I think the unique battleground being the final boss, the music, the transition of going from Radagan to the Elden Beast is all really cool. The lake area will hurt you the most for a mage build. Oh, Liurnia? Maybe. You can always respec your character later, protagonist. I'm trying to remember. I think mage for me got a little bit better like in the mid game because there's some spells you get in the middle game around like level 40 that make the game a little bit better for a mage. I think earlier on I would prefer to just bonk stuff with my sword. But Magician is good at all stages of the game, I think. It's just going to be tricky early on, especially if this is like your first time playing the game, because you're going to have to split your flasks between HP and FP to, you know, refill your blue bar so you can keep casting skills. And I feel like that's kind of tricky as a new character, because as a new player, you're just going to get smacked around a lot and you need to drink a lot of health in order to stay in the fight longer. Magic damage is really bad against the boss of the academy. Oh, good point. I don't think I ever did anything other than Unga Bunga Renala. Elder Dragon Grail. Is this the big dragon that you can just kill for like 90,000 runes early on? This is the massive dragon near Fart Feroth. Bad? There's no fight to this. I've killed Grail multiple times. Maybe it's just I found the cheese and I haven't gone back from the cheese. But you just put a bleed weapon on, you go up on his butt, and it takes 5 minutes because he's got a lot of HP, and you just poke him in the butt. And right before he dies, you eat a gold pickled foot, so that way you get 20% bonus runes. Does she even have a named health bar? Maybe if you approach from the front? I think Grail drops multiple dragon hearts too. Oh, the 5 smaller dragons in front of her are her children. Each death will deal 1/5 damage to her. Killing all 5 will also defeat her. Oh. Drops 5 dragon hearts. Yeah, I've never done the fight correctly, quote unquote. I've always just gotten up on her. Oh, 5 dragon hearts. Yeah, I've just always gotten up on her butt and just with a bleed weapon. I did it on stream. Remember, I was trying to level up to fight Radon, and someone was like, "Hey, you can go get 90,000 runes real easy." I was like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, just go poke this dragon in the butt till it dies." In Dragon Barrow, and you just go and you just. I don't know how long it took for me to. How long was I there using bleed on my halberd to like poke her down until she finally died? Yeah, I'm putting her at bad because I don't know anything else. I just know that it's run up and poke her a bunch. Really tedious fight. I guess it's kind of cool that you could like fight her children, and then the children, they all have linked HP, so you kill all her children and she dies, but I'm putting her at bad. Where do I respect the points? So you have to beat the boss at Rea Lucaria, the academy. You have to find the key to get in. But once you beat the boss of the area, you can use these items called larval tears to respec your character, and it lets you redistribute your points. It's funny. I just uploaded a video that tells you where to get all 18 larval tears. Shilling with videos in my own stream. Either you fight her normally and kill five dragons, or you poke her with bleed. Not fun either way for me. You're a guy at the beginning of the game. So it's the second area. So you're starting in an area called Limgrave. The area directly north of Limgrave is called Liurnia, and there's a Hogwarts is the nickname for it, but it's called Rhea Lucaria. And if you beat the boss there, she actually respects your character. It's early-ish, but because the rest, I mean, that's, man, there's so much game coming at you after Rhea Lucaria, but it's considered like, I think the second is either like the second or the third required boss, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, there is a spot to respec your character. If you're just starting out, you got a little bit of a way to go. Okay, Elimer of the Briar. Do I put him at okay or great? I mean, he just fights like... I don't think he does anything different than the Bell-Bearing Hunters. Maybe I like him better because he doesn't gank you like the Bell-Bearing Hunters. Like, you actually go to the Shaded Castle and fight him, and he drops his sword, and the sword is really cool. Maybe that's what we want. Do I like him better because he doesn't gank me and he drops his sword? But then I'm putting on the same tier as Astel and the Elden Beast. Yeah, I'm putting him at okay. Erdtree Avatar, I put under meh. Starts out as a decent boss, but you fight so many Erdtree avatars, and I think eventually the Erdtree avatars become regular enemies, like in the Haligtree area, right? They're just like regular enemies patrolling. Erdtree, Burly, or Watchdog, I'll do the same thing to them. They're a good boss early on because they easily telegraph their attacks, but they also become regular enemies later. And it's the Asylum Demon from Dark Souls. Oh, the Erdtree avatar is? Yeah. Just reskinned, I guess. Same moveset. Okay. I kind of feel like jumping around. Because we spent an hour. We got a good chunk down. Let's see. Esker, Priest of Blood. We'll put under meh. I think you fight him in the Lindale Catacombs. He gives you the Lord of Blood Exaltation, which is a cool talisman. But he's tarnished with a couple of dogs. The dogs are more threatening than Eskar is. The Falling Star Beast. Oh, I am tempted to put this under bad. You fight two of these in the game, right? They have really high poise. They're really resistant to a lot of damage. I think they inflict bleed, too. You can fight them on horseback, which is kind of fun. Plus an adult version. Immune to bleed and poison. It's just a Crucible Knight on 4 legs with a tail. Oh wait, no, Crucible Knights have tails too. Oh my god. They don't get so heavily reused because there's only 2 in the game. But I think they're just frustrating to fight against. I don't think I'm fans of them either way. Fell Twins, I'll put it meh. You're fighting 2 omens at once, but they're not super difficult. So maybe my last question. Hey, protagonist, hit me with all the questions. I've beaten the game. I'm now just judging all the bosses, and I'm judging them harshly. The stone sword keys, will I have to get a new one every use? Yes. And be careful. Some dungeons will require 2 keys. You have to look at the imp statue and see if it's got, one of them has a dagger in its forehead. And then you only need 1 more dagger to go in. Or some of them have no daggers and it requires 2 to go in. But if you only have 1 and you click yes, your character will stick the one that he has in and still not unlock the dungeon. So just something to be on the lookout for. I have stuck 1 into a door that required 2 and then lost the 1. So I couldn't use it on a door that only required 1. But the game gives you enough stone sword keys that I think you can open every door in every dungeon that requires them. Okay, Fee is champion. I'm going to put at okay. If I'm not misremembering the fight against Fee as champions, I think they come in waves. And I like how creepy the fight is at the Death Root area. In the whole Thea area anyways. But I think you fight them like 1 and then 2 at a time. Or maybe all 3 of them pop out. If all 3 of them pop out, then it's kind of like that swamp boss in Bloodborne. You remember those guys? Oh, who were they called? I should replay Bloodborne. I can't remember enough of the... Yeah, what was the name of the boss? Fextra Life. It doesn't tell me. Really? Bloodborne stream. If it comes to PC, that's pretty much the easiest way for me to do it. Shadows of Yharnam. Oh, yeah. Oh, and those guys, they got stronger when one of them died, right? Like, one would die and the other 2 would get an ability, and then you killed the second one, and then the last one, he gets like, all right, Super Saiyan. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the Fia's champion fight is a little bit like that. So I like it better than fighting Eskar and Adon. Fire Giant. I'm gonna put him at okay. I wasn't super thrilled with the Fire Giant fight, because it's a gimmick fight. It's like, he's like, what was the Abyssal King Wolmir or something like that from Dark Souls 3? The skeleton guy that you face, and he's just a skull and the 2 hands. You have to fight his hands, and then he dies. Like, the Fire Giant is break his leg, and then phase 2, finish him off, and dodge fire the whole time. Fire Giant has the largest health bar in the game. Oh, does he? I didn't know that. He's unique. You don't fight anyone else that's kind of like that, I guess. He has some cutscenes. Puts him ahead of some other bosses. I did like the cutscene of him holding up his severed leg and it lights on fire, and then the face in his chest opened up and you had the eye with the 9 pupils. What was that eye supposed to be about anyways? I'm gonna put him at okay. I didn't understand the mechanic on phase 2. Your auto or your lock on has you lock onto his hands, but his hands are waving around a whole bunch because he's slamming stuff, he's casting spells, and his spells require him to like hoo ha. So as an Unga Bunga character, I still just went after his feet, and even though those are not his weak spots, I was still whacking away at his stump, dealing damage to him, to his massive HP bar, trying to get past all of that health. Hey, what's up, Trappist? The eye on the fire giant's body is the eye of the fell god. Oh. So this is the fire giant we fought, the last one possessed, but it's the last fire giant, right? But he's the last one possessed by the fell god. Was it the fell god that tried to burn the Erd tree, and that's why we had to get the fire giant's fire? I don't know. Not my favorite boss fight, so I'm putting it at okay. What mouth does he eat with? It's a good question. Have you noticed all the trolls in the game have their stomachs removed? Oh, yeah. Except for 2. Well, hang on. Something is making sense to me. EG does not have... Well, okay, never mind. EG has his stomach removed, but he has a slab in his stomach. I don't know what the implications are of that slab. There's a... And I covered this in my larval tier video, hint, hint. In Caelid, there's a wandering noble that if you kill him, he turns into a troll with a fire sword. And I don't think any of the other trolls that you fight that draw their swords put fire on their swords. I think it's the only one with a fire sword. So I don't know what is going on with, number 1, a noble that turns into a troll, and then number 2, that troll happens to have a fire sword. If you're trying to draw the comparison between the giants and the trolls with the stomachs. I think all of them have a stone in the chest cavity? No. I think the regular trolls just have ripped out stomachs. Man, it would suck to be a troll in Elden Ring, huh? What about the troll in Redmane Castle? Could have sworn his was on fire. I don't remember the one in... I don't remember the one in Redmane Castle. Zoli the Witch covered this, and the slab in their stomachs is a mount interactable. The stone in EG's stomach is a mount... Wait, you interact it with the mount? Oh, I just pulled them up on Fextra Life. The snow trolls that you fight in the consecrated snowfield use fire giant incantations. So are the trolls descendants of giants? They have this description, but I don't know where this description comes from. The lesser giants who fought for the Erd tree during the war against the giants long ago. Though the giants have lost their minds, they stay inseparable from their swords that are in sad shape, such that the gold plating had flaked away. Oh yeah, I forgot. Some of the trolls... Man... It sucked to be a troll in Elden Ring, especially when you're like, yeah, you're going to pull a carriage. And you're like, okay, I'm big and strong. Put it in my hands. I'll pull the chain. And they go, no. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this giant spike, drill it through you, and attach the chain to that. And you're going to pull that. It's like, I could get a better grip if I held the chain. No. We're going to spike you and put the chain on the spike. That way you can fight to protect the carriage. It's like, well, if I held it... The trolls pulling the carriages are attached to the stone slab? Are these slabs? These don't look like... The screenshots they have on Fextra Life don't look like slabs. Why let you pull it with your hands? You have a perfectly good chest cavity. Yeah, I'm pretty sure EG's the only one that has an actual... item inside of him. Not an item you can interact with. Oh, this is a terrible screenshot. I can't... Oh my god, it's like 300 by 200 pixels. Okay, hello. It's 2022. We should be able to get 1080p screenshots, guys. Wow. Okay to share a link. Links are disabled in the chat. Sorry. If it's Zoli's video, I'll check it out later. I'm getting sidetracked. We gotta go back to the tier list. Fire Giant. Okay, Flying Dragon, Aegil, meh. I don't like the dragon fights. Flying Dragon, Grail. I think it's a dragon you fight on the bridge, but it's the same thing. Glintstone Dragon. No, just the Google image. Can I put you on approved users? Yeah, you won't be able to share a link. If you're on Twitter, DM it to me. I'd be happy to check it out. Frenzied Duelist. Oh, these guys become regular enemies really early on too, don't they? They're kind of fun fights, but I feel like... Now, do I put them on the same level as, like, Elamare and the Ancestor Spirit? No, these guys are meh. Full-grown, Falling Star Beast, also annoying. Godfroy the Grafted. I think he's okay. He doesn't have... You can find it by searching Troll Elden Ring. Yeah, the first one shows the Stone Digger troll. Yeah, they all have hollow chest cavities. Oh, someone on Reddit, though, put up a good comparison art between the troll and the fire giant. You can kind of see the nose shape on the troll. Oh, no, someone else on Reddit also pointed out that the trolls do have stones inside of them. I didn't think those were stones. Oh, that's a better shot of it. Yeah, I found the picture you're talking about. They spear them through their stones. Oh, God, I can't imagine number one having a boulder as an organ, and then number two... number two... Oh, getting speared through your boulder organ. And like, alright, now you pull the carriage. Why? Alright. Kingspawn, you're right. I agree with you. They all have a stone in them. For some reason. And pull a carriage, yeah. Let's see, you said Godric Reloaded. Yeah, you fight him in an Everjail. I think he drops a good talisman. I like the Godric fight. But the fact that it's just Godric, no phase 2, no cutscene, and you fight him in Altus Plateau, so that's like, that could be your third or fourth zone. By then you're like, Godric was cake 30 levels ago, 40 levels ago. So you fight this, and you're like, yeah, easy, still easy. And you move on. Get your talisman and go. Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. Oh my god, such an amazing boss. Just... Oh my god, you just show up, and he's holding Margit. Morgott, how you say his name? And Morgott fades away into Grace. The Grace is pointing at your character as you enter the arena. Oh, I'm getting chills recalling the moment. He introduces himself as the first Elden Lord, and he's got his axe. He stomps the ground. Sirash is on his back. He lets out a roar, and it's one of those anime-style bestial roars that your character gets shooken and pushed back like, oh my god, his power level is so high, I can't even exist in the same arena as him, and I have to fight him. And he does the really cool move where he jumps up in the air and he throws his axe at you. And you're like, oh, okay, he's going to have to come over and pick up the axe, right? No. He follows after it from the air. He lands on it to pick it back up. Oh, man. And then you get him halfway, and it's like, all right, phase 2. And, oh, God. He kills Sirash, and he says, now I fight as Horalu, warrior! And he gives up on the axe. He's gonna manhandle you to death. Oh my god. And he has the shockwaves when he stomps the ground. And then he has another one where he slams his hands into the ground to make the huge earthquakes. He has the wrestling moves, which I like this boss fight so much. I was doing some co-ops before the stream. I died in one of the co-ops because I got caught by the grab, and I paid attention to the animation. So he grabs you, throws you in the air, and your character's like stunned in midair, like, oh my god, he just threw me 30 feet in the air. And he jumps up, pile drives you into the ground, and this is where it gets visceral. He slams his hands into your chest, and he tears your character. No, your character model doesn't get ripped in half, but I'm sure your character would have just been torn open, and then you die. RKO out of nowhere. It's one hell of an RKO. Oh my god, it's Godfrey. He's got a metal check. Oh, such a cool boss fight. One of the best boss fights. I know he's kind of easy. I mean, he's got a lot of health and he attacks pretty quickly, but a lot of his stuff is telegraphed. But he's so fun. And his lines are so good too, because when he finally dies, you know, just that fading voice line. Thy strength, it befits the crown. Like he's like, hey, you killed me. You know what? You might have what it takes to be Elden Lord. Get in there, buddy. Here's the highlight of the end game for me. Yeah, because the end game. Okay, Malekith was part of the end game, so Malekith was kind of cool. But otherwise, the end game is Gideon Ofnir, blah, another tarnished fight. Radagon into Elden Beast, okay, but tedious. Radagon was a cool fight. Elden Beast was cool thematically, but not as, like, actually enduring the boss fight. Like, the Radagon into Elden Beast felt like a marathon. It was like, I just gotta get through this. You know? Well, like, Godfrey was spectacular in the cutscenes, in the transition from phase 1 to 2, and then his regular attacks. And good voice lines, too. You don't get a whole lot of voice lines out of Elden Beast. And Gideon Ofnir, by that point in the game, you don't even have to let him monologue at you. You can interrupt his speech and just run in and smash him in the face with your weapon. Ugh. Godfrey, first Elden Lord, the Shade. I'll put as okay. It is interesting that you fight the Golden Shade before the real one. Oh, I just realized the Golden Shade, the battle axe isn't damaged. It has both blades on the head. When you fight Horalu, Godfrey, his axe is damaged. That's interesting. I wonder what he broke his axe on. Yeah, there's no voice lines, there's no cutscene. You just fight a guy with an axe, and he's gold colored. So the shade version I'm putting is okay. Godric the Grafted. Oh, do I put him at amazing? Godfrey is Radahn's idol, is he? Godric had good voice lines. He had an okay transition from phase 1 to phase 2. He wasn't much of a gimmick, and he was a good first boss, like a first story boss. Oh, just the line where he puts the dragon arm on. Forefathers, one and all, bear witness! He's also creepy as heck, too, because he's got arms upon arms. Radahn modeled his armor after Godfrey's icon. Oh, after Godfrey's lion. Oh, I didn't think about that. Well, Godric was copying Godfrey, too. Right? He has the axe. Wait, I forgot. Hang on. Oh, okay. So Godric, he has the two-handed axe, which he probably copied from Godfrey. Is Godfrey his dad? I can't remember. Godspeed on this. This looks so thought-provoking. Thanks, Lime. I think we're having fun so far. If it's been 2 hours and we're maybe halfway through. I'm stuck at the academy. Haven't played since early May. Oh, wow. You've been out for a month. Academy kind of sucks, I'll admit. It's one of the harder areas. At least, yeah, I'd say it sucks. It's a pretty tough area. His ancestor, I think. But he wanted to be strong like Godfrey. He wanted to be the Elden Lord. He used an axe. And then the grafted version that you fight in the Everjail is called... It's spelled Godfrey, but it's probably pronounced Godfrey as well. Hang on, maybe I can... Do you have to fight them in order? Nope. Okay, so this is just the French version of Godfrey. But it's Godfrey. Godfrey? But okay, so the Echo version of Godric has a name similar to Godfrey. So, I don't know. I think some of the demigods did model themselves after Godfrey. And I think Godric for sure. He chops his own hand off to fuse with the dragon. Amazing. Yeah, very... I mean, it's very anime, right? Because, he spends that time chopping off his own arm, looking at the dragon, and then saying, oh, what if I graft with you? And then you watch him stick the stump in and fuse the dragon head to his arm, and it's like the whole time it's like, okay, we could be dogpiling you. No? Alright. Godskin Apostle. I think the Godskin Apostle is an okay fight. The Apostle, I think, is the one you fight in the village. I tried to go to Radahn, and the little portal to go to the castle wouldn't activate. So, if you go there and the portal doesn't activate, you'll find his castle is inhabited by all his soldiers. And you can fight through it, and you can collect the loot, and you can find the graces as normal. However, if you go to Altus Plateau, either through the elevator and the ravine, or by getting the 2 parts of the medallion to activate the Dectus lift, just by visiting the Altus Plateau will trigger the Radahn Festival in the Redmane Castle. And then when you go back to Caelid, there should be no soldiers. I think the lions are still there, but the portal should be active to take you straight in, right to the Grace, and then you can go in onto the festival grounds and go straight down to Radon. But you have to go to Altus Plateau first. He has a French accent instead of a UK one. I don't remember much of an accent with him, but if he does have a French accent, then they did pay attention to the name. Godric used grafting to achieve power, which was probably misinterpreted from Godfrey grafting Serash onto his back. Godfrey did it to quell his bloodlust, not to make him stronger. That's another interesting comparison between the two. Yeah, Serash versus Godric putting everything else on top of him. Apostle's the Slenderman Godskin. The Apostle, I felt like, was a better fight than the Noble. I hate the Noble in comparison, because when the Noble has two attacks I really hate. He has the one where he jumps up, inflates himself, and slams down with a giant shockwave. I mean, like, I'm talking butt slam times 100. And then the second one, he jumps up, he inflates himself, and then he rolls all around the arena. And he does so much damage when he smacks you. Alright, I got a couple of these to get through. The roll goes on forever too, yeah. I'm putting the Godskin duo at meh. I think the Godskin duo, if they had two separate HP bars, and then you could kill one, and then you could kill the other, I think would be an okay fight. But the fact is, there is a shared HP bar, and you have to kill one, kill the other, kill the one that respawns, and if it summons another one, you have to do enough you just have to do X amount of damage across however many bodies that keep spawning in the room. Does not make sense. Like, if it was just, hey, two bosses, like, okay, that'd be a little bit better. But they keep respawning. Now, I like the Godskin duo better than the Crucible Knights, because you can sleep them, you can bleed them, you can rot them, you can freeze them. They are susceptible to status effects, and you can use sleep, which doesn't have a whole lot of implications in the game, to manage the boss fight much better than fighting two Crucible Knights, because those guys are practically immune to status. So at least Godskin duo, you can apply some strategy to it. Discount Smog and Ornstein. Well, don't Smog and Ornstein, depending on the order you kill them, activate an ability for the other one? I think in World of Warcraft they call those Romeo and Juliet bosses. I don't think we had a mechanic like that in Elden Ring at all. Where you fight two guys and you kill one, and then the other guy goes, alright, Ornstein, I'm going to borrow your lightning and put it in my hammer. Or vice versa, Ornstein borrows Smog. I forgot what Ornstein steals from Smog. Tried to get the golden scarab in the cave, got to the boss's step in Scarlet Rot, died. It took me 3 hours to get there. Way incredibly frustrated, rage quit, haven't played it since. Doing the the golden scarab is a good talisman to get early, but it's frustrating to go like beeline straight for it until you're ready to go for it. But if you have a dagger with quick step, you can use that to skip through the rot puddles, and then just take your time and don't let the scarlet rot build up. Like, don't let the meter fill up. So just like run across, get to a safe island, and then get up and get a glass of water and wait for that scarlet rot meter to fall down. Butt slam and size. Ornstein becomes a big boy for his phase 2. Okay, so he steals his mass. Fair enough. Godskin Noble. I don't want to put him under bad, because he's beatable. He's just frustrating. Hang on. I don't know why. I gotta figure out how to fix this. But as the stream continues, my character drifts and his head gets stuck like this for some reason. Just gotta remember to reorient, I guess. Yeah, we'll put him under meh. But the one that you have to kill for the achievement, I think, is in Mount Gelmir, and he's guarding the thing that you need for Raya. But he still has the same moveset. He'll throw a black fireball at you. He'll create a circle of black fire. He's got a thrusting sword. And then he does the I'm huge attacks. Golem Archer is in here. That's a boss. Yeah, there's a cut. You fight some golems in some early dungeons, I believe. Let's see. I'm trying to find the one that says it's a boss. Extra Life doesn't have which dungeon they're listed as a boss in. There's one that drops the blue dancer talisman. Yeah, that's in Limgrave, right? Yeah, these guys you fight early on. They're not... I'll put the other golem, the guardian golem. That's the one that drops the blue dancer's talisman. The golems are really, they've really telegraphed their attacks, and you hit them in the ankles and it criticals them and they fall on their side and you smack them in their belly and you do critical damage. Grafted Scion. Wow, there's a lot of these that are just repeat bosses. Alright, Grafted Scion. The first boss that you face, and if he hits you once, you die, and then that's when the game starts. Besides the one boss, the rest are just regular ones that you run into. You fight one on Mount Gelmir. You fight one in Stormvale Castle. There's one hidden as a crayfish in Liurnia. I can't think of any others, though. But yeah, I'm putting it under Met. It's oh, and then you fight two of them in the Hero's Grave, where you get Oleg and the where you get the Erd Tree Talisman. There's two that drop from the ceiling. Yeah, not a huge fan of them. They fight. They're kind of erratic with how they fight. Bad for me. I restarted the game until I beat it. Yeah, did you use that straight sword that it drops, or the shield? You get that weapon and shield, and then it's like, yeah, I'm putting it under meh. Grave Warden Duelist. Didn't we already put a Duelist under here? Frenzied Duelist. What is the difference between the two? Oh, I think one uses hammers and the other uses axe. But again, they become regular enemies because you find them just patrolling in Lindell. Great Worm Theodorix. I think this is the Great Worm you fight. Well, you fight what? There's 3 Great Worm fights. One in Mount Gelmir, one in the Snowfields, one in the Gale Tunnel where you get Moonveil. Oh, and one on the Runestone Precipice, so there's 4 of them. But I think we only have one Great Worm on here. This is the Consecrated Snowfield version. They don't have the others on here. I'm okay with the Great Worms. Plus, I think I lost the runes at the mandatory death. I think it's been patched now. Oh, you don't even get to keep the runes after you kill the first boss. That sucks. Let's see. The Great Worms. Besides the charging attack, I think they're an okay designed boss. They're just a giant fire-breathing lizard. They don't stand up a whole lot unless they're going to do a slam attack on you. But yeah, they're pretty good about telegraphing you their attacks. You can either dodge through the attacks or jump over the attacks. I think 2 of them you fight in a confined area, and the other 2 you fight in like really big open areas. I like the look of the magma worm and the scale sword. Yeah, the scale sword was really good, and that carried me through a good part of the game. I'm currently at level 40 with a +6 katana. Did beat some sub-bosses like Limgrave Dragon, Godric, dungeon bosses. I think you're doing okay. You might be able to do Carry Manor at, I think I was around like level 40 or 50 when I did Carry Manor. The only attack unlike the magma worm is the Gram Slam's AoE size. Oh yeah, I think that is a deceptively large area of effect. But that was less annoying than when they get stuck doing the charge attack and they're like ping-ponging around in the room, because when they're charging, they're spitting up lava the whole time. So they're leaving all this fire behind them. They're moving erratically around the room, so you can't hit them. You're trying to dodge them, and if you dodge wrong, you get caught in the lava, and the lava does damage. That's the attack I hated the most from the Great Worms. Otherwise, I think they're a decent boss fight. Yeah, I'm looking like at the other ones I'm comparing this to. Like, I don't feel like they go on meh because they get reused a few times, but not too much. Kindred of Rot. I hate the pests. But Leonin Misbegotten. You know, I don't think the game throws a whole lot of Leonin Misbegottens at you, and 2 of them are bosses. I'm looking ahead. Lich Dragon Fortisax was bad. I don't know why the big dragons just have bad hitboxes, like or targeting areas. You can't target their ankles like the other dragons. So then it's like target the head, always moving, targeting the arms, always moving, or target. I don't even know if you can target. Oh, and target the body, which also moves because they move up and down and back and forth. This is my first Soulsborne game I've ever played. Never played Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Been cautious. I think Elden Ring is a good Soulsborne game to get into. There's a lot more variety and it's way more open, so it's hard to get stuck on an area. He is a Death Cloud spewing version of the Ancient Dragons. Oh, instant death is a terrible mechanic. Yeah, I'm putting Lich Dragon at bad. All the Ancient Dragons were just, I don't think they were designed very well at all. I don't think Dragon Lord Placiduous X counts though. The arena, the style, the music. 2 of the Leonin Misbegotten fights are solo. The other 2 are duos. One with the Perfumer and the one with the Crucible Knight. Oh yeah, and the one with the Crucible Knight drops the Ruin's Greatsword. Oh, hang on, I just realized. The Leonin Misbegottens, they get their hands on some legendary swords, don't they? You fight the one in Castle Morn that has the grafted greatsword, right? You fight the other one. You fight the one in the consecrated snowfield, and he has the Golden Order sword. Then you fight the one with the Crucible Knight, blah, and you get the Ruin Greatsword. What was with these guys? And 3 of those are of the legendary armaments for the achievement. Those dudes were packing some serious heat. Yeah, they have like 50% of the legendary weapons. Maybe we should put Leonin Misbegotten at okay. Even though he gets reused a bunch, he becomes a regular enemy. They have good loot. Fortisax is awesome. The area, the style, the music was pretty good. Yeah, I just don't like the Ancient Dragons though. It's just not fun fights. Beat Leonin Misbegotten first try. I was shocked I did that. Dude, it's awesome on your first playthrough and you don't know what you're doing. And you just get put up against something that has boss music and a boss HP bar. I was like, oh crap, what do I do? And so like you're panic rolling, you're panic healing, and it gets down to the wire, you're out of healing, but like you're in the zone and you're dodging, and you're starting to learn the patterns. And then you beat the boss, and you're like, oh, so good. Vortex is an annoying mechanic where if you stick too close, you get hit by lightning. Yeah, and I played Unga Bunga like 3 times. Yeah, or here's a boss that's like, yeah, I don't even have to hit you. Just walk near me and I'm going to damage you. Like, whatever. Get that guy out. Yeah, not a fan of Vortex, not a fan of Lanciax. Alright. Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree. I think she's an okay fight. Been using the Jellyfish Ash of War. Jellyfish is one of my favorite Ash of Wars early on. Though I think when I do the claw character or fist character, I'll try a different spirit summon early on other than the jellyfish. I want to experiment with more of the spirits. Because I think in all my playthroughs, I start with the jellyfish because I'm in love with it. Then you get the mimic tier. And I think on one character I use Teach, the Black Knife Assassin you get. And another one I had Lutiel, the Mausoleum Knight. I think Loretta is the best of the Tree Sentinel style fights. I never connected her with the Tree Sentinels, but I guess she is similar to them. I'll put her under okay. The Shade version was more difficult for me. She messed me up pretty good. Yeah, the Shade version's pretty tough because you don't get a Grace right in front of her. So there's a little bit of a run to the boss fight. So you can kind of get scratched up getting there. But by the time you fight her at the Halig Tree, you're like, oh, I fought Loretta before. I know her moveset. I know what to look out for. She's less of a surprise, so you're more prepared for what she can do. I don't think her moveset changes. But that said, her presentation is really cool. She's got the one move where she shoots a laser out of her spear. She kind of fights like a player character on horseback. She summons the glintstone phalanx around her. She's got her signature Loretta's bow spell, which is really cool and really good to use. And it's super telegraphed, so it's super easy to dodge. But it still doesn't stop it from being super cool that she summons a giant magical bow and a giant magical arrow, draws the arrow, and the bow grows bigger the whole time. And it has this awesome screeching sound when it comes, rattling at you. And you gotta roll out of the way. I like her boss fight. Mad Pumpkinhead, upon her meh. Again, they become regular enemies. They make good bosses early on because they have a lot of health and they do decent damage. And they're resistant to jump attacks too. Because that helmet actually protects them from jump attacks and headshots. So they kind of teach you to like, hey, you can't rely on headshots the whole game. But then if you're fighting anything that isn't a Mad Pumpkinhead, you can just jump attack the rest of the game. Her weapon might be fun to use. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet either, and I feel like that's such a crime. Loretta's War Sickle, I should try that out on one of my run-throughs. Or just like respec into it. I wish they had more information on side quests. I tend to start them and forget them. Oh, the one for the four-armed witch? That's Ronnie. I do agree with you, Zero Game Network. I was kind of like on the bandwagon at first where it's like, oh, you can't figure out the side quests? Well, just get good. We don't have to put stuff on the mini-map. And then I started thinking about like the dialogue in the game with the characters and the side quests. And not everyone tells you where they're going after you talk to them. So it's extremely difficult to do their side quests. I tried to finish Millicent's quest line on the stream, and there's 2 parts that are especially confusing. One, when she leaves Gowry's shack in Caelid, you don't know where she goes. She ends up in the Altus Plateau. Okay, you give her the prosthesis if you got it from the Shaded Castle, which I don't know how you were supposed to know that. But okay, you go to the Shaded Castle, you get the arm, you give it to her, and then you can summon her later for the Godskin Apostle fight in the Windmill Village, which I didn't know till later also. Okay, but you can talk to her there. Then she disappears. And then you don't see her again until the Mountaintops of the Giants. And she says, oh, hey, I need to get the secret medallion because there's a place I'm trying to get to. So I'm going to head to the castle up north. Okay, you go to Castle Sol. You clear out all of Castle Sol. She isn't a summon that will help you to fight Commander Neal. Or O'Neill. Which commander? The Ice Commander. Neal. I had it right the first time. But then you don't like run into her anywhere in the castle. She says, I think it's close at hand or anything like that. Poof, gone. Don't know where she goes. And then you go to the Halig Tree after getting the medallion. And you go down and you fight 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 and you make it to the prayer room. And she's like, oh, hey, I'm trying to give something to Melania. But like, oh, you said you were in the consecrated snowfield. You wanted to go clear out this castle. We could have done that together. Nope. I'm trying to think of some other quest lines that don't make sense. At least Irina and Edgar early on with Castle Morn. You figure out where Edgar is. He says, oh, go back to my daughter and tell her I have to fulfill my duty. So you go back to tell her. And she says, no, pretty please beg my dad. Here's a letter. So you go back and give him the letter. And he says, okay, well, help me kill the boss and I'll go back. So you help him kill the boss. And then you go back to Irina and you find her dead. It's like, but I mean, like, no one moved. They stayed in the same spot. Who's another one that's real tricky to pin down? Hyetta for the Shabriri grapes. Every time you give her a grape, she changes locations, and she doesn't tell you where she's going. And she doesn't tell you where to find the grapes either. At least Ronnie's side quest, she'll tell you where to go. Like, she's like, okay, you go down into Nokron, you talk to Blythe. Blythe says, let's talk to Saluvius. Saluvius says, talk to Selen. You talk to Selen. Selen says, kill Radon. You kill Radon. You go down into Nokron. Like, they tell you where to go and who to talk to. You have to fight that stupid tree snake in the Scarlet Rot Lake to finish your quest line. Yeah, the ulcerated tree spirit in the Lake of Rot is terrible as well. But Alexander was kind of confusing. But at the same time too, at least when you free him the second time, he says, oh, well, my body's gotten real beat up from fighting Radon. I think I'm going to go to Mount Gelmir and bathe in the lava. You go, oh, great. So you go to Mount Gelmir. You find lava. You kill a magma worm. Oh, who do you hear off in the distance grunting as he's enduring the temperature of the lava? It's Alexander. So he tells you where he's going to go, and you go there, and he's there. It's not Millicent who says, oh, I'm going to go to the castle and look for the medallion. And you go to the castle, and she's nowhere to be found. You find the medallion, and you go back to where she was. You already talked to her. Poof, she's moved on to the next spot. You have no idea where to go. They kind of helped it a little bit by giving you the icons in the mini-map, but that shows you where they're at currently. It doesn't show you where they're heading to or where they're at next. So I feel like the side quests could like use just a pinch of more love or a little bit more dialogue that makes a little bit more sense so you know where to go to expect people. That's all. All right, I feel like I ranted on this too much. All right. Hey, what's up? Indumati. Took off the White Moon part. Regular Magma Worm. I guess I could put that with Great Worm Theodorix. I don't think their moveset changes. Right? Alexander somehow makes it to Farum Azula getting farther than any Tarnished has. What a Chad. Isn't the implication that Alexander wanted to find a fire hotter than the lava and melt Gelmir? So he finds the crucible of the fire giants, and he says, "Oh, this is really hot. I better throw myself into it." And then he ends up in crumbling Farum Azula, just like you do if Millennia gives her life away, or if you're if you're possessed by the Lord of Chaos, then you throw yourself into it and end up in Farum Azula. But yeah, I think he's because you could summon Alexander for the fight against the fire giant, so he was definitely in pursuit of some hotter flames. And so I think he's just like, all right, the fire giant's flame. Let's see how hot this is. And it's so hot it sends him to another world. Malekith the Black Blade. Yeah, ooh, is amazing too high for Malekith? Might not be. He might be amazing. You fight him. He's still the Beastman clergy. And if you finish Garank's questline, then his dialogue changes when you encounter him. Oh, his phase 2 transformation, where he takes his little dagger and stabs it into his hand and pulls out this giant sword of destined death, and then his modest robes start to fade away and turns into this black and gold shining armor, and his hair is, oh my god. The Cleric Beast fight isn't as good as the Black Blade phase. Oh, hell no. No. I mean, he's kind of cool as the Beastman fight, the Cleric Beast, because he's got the shockwaves and the boulder throw and everything else. Yeah, the Berserk armor, exactly. Oh, he is so cool in the second phase, because then he's got the pillars in the arena where he's man, I'm praising another boss that jumps around. But then he's shooting like laser beams at you the whole time. You can get an item to parry him, but I never ever tried parrying him. On my offline playthrough, I cheesed him with Scarlet Rot. Wish he was the one to get a second health bar instead of Melania. Oh my god, yeah, I agree, Tears of Lost Socks. At least Melania, she heals herself. So if you get her to phase 2 at half HP, then keep her at half HP and give her the chance to heal it back. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, don't all the other bosses, when they go into phase 2, they stay at half life? And Melania is like, full HP bar back. All right, let's go. I think you mean Bully McGuire phase. Speaking of Melania, where do we put Melania on the list, guys? You know the lore Elden Ring takes place after Dark Souls and before Bloodborne. I've seen theories that it's all connected, but I haven't seen anything definite yet. Put some trick weapons in the game or something, and I'll I'll believe that. Should I come back to Melania? Make the waifu category? Besides her and Loretta, I don't think there's any other waifus on this list. She's a good boss until the anime comes out. Well, okay. I mean, you're fighting a waifu with a katana. I mean, that's anime as heck already. She's definitely not amazing. The rage category. All right, well, let's work our way up. Do we think she's a bad boss? She's extremely frustrating. She's very difficult. But difficult doesn't equal badly designed. But do we hate Waterfall Dance? Oh god, yeah, I hate Waterfall Dance. But like the rest of her moveset, pretty okay. I hate that she heals back. That's probably one of the only mechanics with her that I absolutely despise. Is the heal on attack that she has. Otherwise, she fights like a tarnished character. She has low poise, so you can hit stun her. You can parry her attacks, though her parrying is a little tricky. Heals on hit whether it damages or not. Yeah, so if you're someone who's played through the game with a great shield and a spear, or a great shield and a rapier, that build's not going to work against her, right? Well, at least she's very susceptible to knockdown. She's very susceptible to bleed, and she's very susceptible to freeze. So she's open to status effects, which I think is nice. If her damage was lower, it'd be less frustrating. Yeah, it feels... Waterfowl Dance is such a feels bad attack. Because it's one wave of attacks, another wave of attacks, another wave of attacks, and I stand still, and another one, another wave of attacks. But any one of those sword flurries, if you get caught, and any of them, is practically an instant death. So it's like a boss that throws 4 instant death attacks at you. I think she looks really cool. I like the gold and the red and the look of the prosthetics. Okay, but no one has said that she's bad. Is she okay? She's got some elements we like and some elements we dislike. She's a mixed bag, so to speak. I always pack ice pots for Waterfowl Dance. I am terrible at recognizing Waterfowl Dance, and then when I do recognize it, I'm terrible about getting my my action bar scrolled down to my ice pots to throw onto her to interrupt the Waterfowl Dance. There was the one time though, I hit her with the Great Strike's hammer, triggered a bleed, and knocked her out of Waterfowl Dance. I'm going to put her at okay. There are definitely things about her that could be tweaked to be better, like either lowering her damage, so then she's more of yeah, it's just, I think she's super difficult, but I think she's really neat. Yeah, that's the problem, is she's really cool. And she's a very straightforward fight, too. Why can't you stance break her during hyper armor moves? She's the only boss that works like this. Yeah. Well, her kick, I know, has extremely high poise, according to Fexter Life. Because I've read strategies on how to beat her. Oh, one of my playthroughs, though, you know what I did? I said, okay, I am going to do what Fexter Life says at the very first sentence, is Melania is so... well, okay, I don't know that this is paraphrasing, but it basically goes like, she's extremely difficult, but she is easily beaten by Rivers of Blood. So just, if you're having trouble, respec to Rivers of Blood, kill her with Rivers of Blood, and then respec back. I was playing a character that was using katanas. I was using a Moonveil build. And I was like, alright, I have Rivers of Blood, let's go, I'll respec into Dex and Arcane. And I went a step further and I used Black Knife Ticha on her as well, which is a really good summon for Melania because Ticha does not stay in combat. She dodges a lot, so she doesn't get hit. Rivers of Blood trivializes Melania. Absolutely. Melania's poise is so bad to the weapon art, and you trigger the bleed so quickly and so rapidly on her that it was a joke to fight her with Rivers of Blood. Yeah, fire damage plus bleed. I think she's weak to fire damage as well. I was looking for Moonveil Katana. What's its location? Hey, Zero Gaming Network. I actually have a YouTube short on where to find the Moonveil Katana. 60-second video on my channel. I think it's in the Gale Tunnel in Caelid, if I am remembering correctly. Why can't I remember correctly? Where's my brain going? Oh yeah, I upload. It's 45 seconds actually, so I'll save you 15 more seconds of your life. It is in Caelid though, and you have to fight a magma worm to get it. But you're probably at the level where you can get it, and it's a really good katana. It'll carry you through all the way up to like level 100, level 125. And at level 125, I said, I'm going for Rivers of Blood, and I didn't look back. Rivers of Blood is just that good. But I only used it in PvE. I did not invade anyone with Rivers of Blood. I did not do anything. I would not do anything as maidenless as invade with Rivers of Blood. Okay, we put Melania at okay. Margit the Fell Omen. Is the first big boss you fight. He's kind of unique. I'm probably going to put him at okay. He has a cool cutscene, but he doesn't drop anything like super great. Well, he drops a talisman pouch, which is nice, but it's like there's no remembrance, there's no weapon. It's just you can put on a second talisman, and at that point in the game, it's like, do I have a second talisman? Unless you picked a talisman as your burial item, the Crimson Amber medallion, you might be like, oh, well, I have this lightning resist talisman I found in the cave. Morgott version's much better. I think so too. Mimic tier. I kind of want to meme and put it at amazing because, you know, I'm amazing and the Mimic tier copies me, so it would be amazing. I'm probably going to do that for the memes. Margit wants to stop the tarnish, but forgets that the devs made it so he can skip Stormveil entirely. He's harder than Godric. True. I one-shot Godric on my first attempt. I died more times to Margit than Godric. And when I was fighting Margit, it was Jellyfish and Sorcerer Roger. It was like, let's go, guys. And he was tough. And the one time I beat him was a buzzer beater of a kill, too. I was out of healing. I was one hit away from death. He broke my shield guard, right? So my character goes, oh, I'm out of stamina. I can't hold my shield anymore. And then he starts winding up his beat-em-up stick. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to die. The animation finished up for, like, dropping your guard. I rolled out of the way just as the shield came at me. And then it was either me or the jellyfish that finished him off. I don't remember. Oh, but it was such a buzzer beater of a fight. Miranda the Blighted Bloom is just a flower. Put that under meh. Mog, Lord of Blood. My first kill on him was me poisoning him and then him killing me. Then he dies a second later after his little speech. I do like that the game has a window of forgiveness where if you die at the same time as the boss or just shortly after, or the boss dies shortly after, it still rewards you. Mog is amazing just because of the phase transition. His cutscene, when I watched it on the stream, I paid a little bit closer attention to it. He's like all sweet and tender with Miquella's hand and says, "Oh, just wait a little bit longer, sweet Miquella." And then he turns to you, and then he's like, "Welcome to my dynasty." Like, just the instant swap was really creepy. And then the blood curse effect. I don't know the letters he says. What is it? Tre, Unos, Anus. And then he grabs the spear with both hands. The whole arena turns into red. The circles clench around your character. And he screams, "Nihil!" And then, like, when he does, your character is instant bled. Your HP just goes gone. And his HP bar is filling back up. And he screams, "Nihil!" again. And it's the same thing happens again. If you didn't heal after the first one, you're dead. So you chug that potion real quick. And he says "Nihil" again. You're like, "Oh my god, how do I interrupt this?" And I think he does it like 3 or 4 times. And you have to, if you don't have the physic to get through it, you have to go chug, chug, chug. And you're like, "Oh my god, I just used 3 flasks." And you look at the boss. He's full healed off of it. He's got giant black wings now. He's like, "All right, phase 2." And you're like, okay, so I lied earlier. Mog also does a full heal when he goes into phase 2, but that's because he drains you of it the whole time. Oh, Mog is a pretty cool fight. I like him. His weapon is good. His introduction's good. Miquella is this whole powerful demigod that we don't know a whole lot about, and we don't fight him. I don't think he's dead. Someone, when I fought Mog, said that Miquella was dead. I was like, I don't know. He was kidnapped. Mog the Omen, I'll put as okay. It's just the phase 1 fight as Mog. It's optional. You fight him in the sewers. I'm sure they're saving him for DLC. I'm torn between, if we get a Miquella DLC, I think we're more likely to get a Badlands DLC. Hey, what's up, Soul? Face my swords. Why do I have killing hula hoops? Oh, you're talking about the blood curse circles that surround you. Yeah. I think he's in a deep sleep. Well, he was inside the Halig tree, and Mog stole him from that, and somehow Melania didn't notice. But, oh, so the reason why I think we're getting a Badlands DLC is Horalu led the Tarnished away to the Badlands, and it was across the sea, so they took boats. But the rusted anchor that you find says that 1 boat was left behind. And we defeated Horalu. So now there's a whole clan or tribe or group of Tarnished in a completely another world without their leader. But we have a boat to get to them. Is Mog stealing Miquella the reason she invades Caelid? No, she invades Caelid because all the demigods fought each other for their shards of the Elden Ring. They're each, they're all called shard bearers, and they each have great runes. They all have part of the Elden Ring. And they all wanted to become the next Elden Lord. And the only way to become Elden Lord is to have enough parts, enough great runes in order to restore the Elden Ring. That's why after you fight 2 or 3 people with great runes, that's why Gideon Offner says, "Make your way for Lindell. In the center of the Altus Plateau, the 2 fingers will deny your passage no longer." So, yeah, they're all fighting each other for their shards. They all want to become Elden Lord, and I guess none of them can beat each other. Rykard surrenders himself to the Great Serpent. Melania fights Radahn to a stalemate there. She technically, I think, loses because she blooms. I asked this because Mogwin Palace is directly under Caelid. It is directly under Caelid, isn't it? Oh, now you got me thinking. Might have stole him prior to her returning from Caelid. It's possible. It is the blood drips from corrupted Caelid. But there's no scarlet rot in the area. I think he was stolen while the war at Caelid happened. Oh yeah, in none of the cutscenes or the drawn scenes or in any of the lore do we hear about Mog fighting any of the other demigods. He just says, hey, Mikola, you're coming with me, and disappears. We aren't given a definitive timeline for the shattering events. That's also true. And time doesn't make sense anyways, because Radahn is stopping the cosmos in place. So somehow we have a day and night cycle, but the stars don't move, so we can't have meteors falling onto the planet. But also at the same time too, he's holding the cosmos at a standstill that we're still able to study glintstones which come from the outer space. I don't know. Stuff doesn't make sense. Yeah. I think it's the blood from all the fighting. You know, I will say, I think the crows that we encounter in the game, we only see them in Caelid, and we only see them in the Mogwyn dynasty. The corruption may not afflict blood, but the flesh too. While the flesh rot in Caelid, the blood drips into the ground, maybe. I'd be a little bit more believable on that as if the blood pond or blood swamp we run through like built bleed up on us when we ran through it. Mountaintop as well. Oh yeah, there are some crows in the mountaintop. Never mind, that throws my theory out. Radahn is holding back the stars while maddened by rot and fighting you, the Giga Chad of demigods. Yeah. I haven't gotten to Radahn yet. We got 2.5 rows to go. Morgoth, the Omen King. I'll put him under great. I like his intro, especially where he shows you that staff and you're like, all right, yeah, Margit, you have a wooden sword, whatever. And then like he breaks it and it like glows with heat. And it's like, oh, actually, this was a sword the whole time. He is legit the strongest demigod by lore. True. And Morgoth also taunts us after we kill him. You'll be spurned by the Erd Tree. You cannot become Elden Lord. The Erd Tree rejects you. And he doesn't die. He just lays there as a desiccated corpse until Godfrey comes back. And Necromancer Garrus. It's another tarnished fight. Mog put his omen blood in the swamps, corrupting the inhabitants, giving the Albinauric omen horns and turning them red, corrupting the dogs and the crows. Oh, I didn't think about that. Morgoth is Gilgamesh from Fate. At least he doesn't call us Kerr the whole time, right? Knights Cavalry I'm going to put as an okay boss fight. They're fun to fight from horseback. They're more predictable than the Deathbirds and the Bell-bearing Hunters. And they drop really good loot. Their glaive is good. One of them drops Bloodhound Step. Probably one of the best and most widely used Ashes of War in the game. Their armor's kind of cool. Sanguine Nobles have Mog's Omen Horns too. Yeah, I noticed that when I was fighting them. Yeah, they're fun. I mean, they're not spectacular. I mean, they're just bosses you fight at night, but they're I like them. A good joust fight, yeah. Like when you fight the Tree Sentinel early on. You and the other guy have similar move sets, so it's how do you position against the AI? Nox Duo. I think you fight these guys in Celia, but they're just regular Nox enemies. The Omen Killer. You fight a couple Omen Killers, so I don't even think this guy counts. Onyx Lord. Is that similar to the Alabaster Lord? In which case, I can put him under okay. Hang on, I'm going to double check on Fextra Life that I'm not making this up. Onyx Lord. Yeah, okay. Big, tall, skinny, black elf that wears no clothes and uses gravity magic. Yeah, they're basically the same. Is this by hardest or most fun? I think it's by presentation, mechanics, difficulty, fun, that kind of thing. This would be way different if I was doing it by difficulty. And maybe I should have done it by difficulty because I think that's something a lot of people can agree on, but I'm just going by favorite. I guess favorite to least favorite is the best way to put it. Patches for amazing, only boss that surrenders. Okay, sorry, just storm. Yeah, no problem. I've never done a tier list before, so if it's not intuitive because I'm doing it by like my favorites because that seems too arbitrary, then I'll know for the future to do tier lists more specialized. This is my first time doing something like this. Patches, second best boss, only boss that surrenders. Alright, for the memes, I put Mimic tier up there. We can put Patches as amazing. Perfumer Tricia and Leonin Misbegotten. God, aren't the Perfumers annoying enemies to fight? But the Leonins are kind of cool. I put it under meh. Putrid Avatar. Oh god, Erdtree Avatar with Scarlet Rot. Like, it's okay. And by okay, I mean like meh. Not a fan of them. Putrid Grave Warden Duelist. Again, so it's any of the Duelist guys, but this one does Scarlet Rot. Okay, whatever. He's meh. Putrid Tree Spirit. I like the Tree Spirit fights. Putrid Avatar is worse than the regular one. Yeah, but it uses the same mechanics, so I don't know if I could just say it's badly designed with... I don't think I can take it from meh into bad just because it uses Scarlet Rot. Even though the Scarlet Rot attack does damage when it hits you, does damage when you walk in it, and then the whole time it's building up Scarlet Rot. It's a terrible attack, especially for Unga Bunga characters like me. But it's not... God, I'm talking myself into putting it into bad. I guess it doesn't do the golden slam like the Erdtree does that summons the little laser things that, you know, pew 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 pew, and you just have to spam your sprint button to get away from them. Only one move is different. Don't think they should be ranked differently. Yeah, that's how I was feeling too. They're both in meh. Putrid avatars do that too? Oh, I guess I don't remember them doing it. Radagon of the Golden Order. I think I'm going to put him in great. If Radagon talked, maybe I could put him into amazing. But I guess it doesn't make sense for him to talk because you see the Elden Ring inside of him. and you learn that he's just a pawn of the Elden Beast. He's actually just the weapon of the Elden Beast. His fight is really cool, and thematically his fight is really cool. One of the attacks where he slams the hammer down and makes that huge AoE cone attack, it's in the shape of the Elden Ring. It even leaves behind the circles and everything. It's the full symbol of the game. I was like, oh my god, that is so cool. I mean, even though it's a huge AoE that does a crap ton of damage, it's still like, oh my god. I like the music. Yeah, you know you're on a final boss when they remix the menu theme. Like, oh my god. When they did that in Fire Emblem Three Houses, I was like, oh. And then you go into Radagon and you hear those drums come in. Oh. You're like, this is it. Oh, it was so hype when I fought Radagon the first time. And then after the next dozen times, it's kind of like, all right, let's get through this. Yeah, he is cool. And the dark area of the arena really emphasizes the bright gold of all of the attacks and all the lightning that he does. The only thing I'd say is pretty annoying is the teleport that he does, because he'll teleport in place, and his teleport when he reappears has a little shockwave. So it's sometimes hard to punish him, because you're like, all right, he just did a whole combo, come in to get my one jump attack, and then he's like teleport in place, knock back, and then start a whole weapon chain again. It's just like, he's tough. He can parry your abilities and spells randomly. Yeah, I got parried and I did not expect it. I was like, oh, and just that sound effect that the parry makes, the ba-dum. I was just like, it made my heart drop. I was like, oh, this is bad. I think it was a one-hit kill after that. It was just gong, and I was like, yeah, I'm dead. Red Wolf of Radagon. You fight a couple of these, so it doesn't feel that special. It doesn't have a lot of HP, and it doesn't have a lot of attacks. Radagon was freaking sick. After dying him so many times, I hated him. Elden Beast 2. I dreaded those bosses for days on end. Yeah, those guys were... you probably weren't here when I said it earlier when I was talking about Elden Beast, but those guys were definitely a marathon to get through. Because you had to get through Radagon. It doesn't even give you like 2 flasks back for beating Radagon. It was like, okay, you got 3 flasks? Alright, here's the Elden Beast. Oh, so tough. I just like wolves. Wolves are cool, but I don't think they're Red Wolf character. You fight one that's a boss, then you fight one in Worshipper's Woods just outside of Nokron, right? And you fight another one in the graveyard outside of Caria Manor, and then you find another one on Ronnie's hidden temple area on top of the mountain. Sif is so much better, as it is kind of a discount Sif. I do like that it does the Glint Blade spell when it runs. Like, that's such a cool move. It does this like this jump across the arena, and then it goes sigil, 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 and then the sigils like slowly turn into the daggers. They aim at you, and then pew. But they're so slow moving. They're so easy to dodge. I don't know. Do you think the wolf should be okay? Maybe it should be okay. Another one shows up in the consecrated snowfield. Oh, I didn't see that one. Regal Ancestor Spirit. I don't think I can rate this one worse than the Ancestor Spirit, but I don't think I can rate it better. I don't know what's different between the two, because when I fought both of them, it was kind of like I beat most of the game and I was going through and cleaning up a lot of the side stuff, and I was like, alright, I'm gonna go light all these torches. And then I went and I fought both of them like back to back, and I was like, I just gutter stomped them. It didn't really feel like a fight. I beat Elden Beast with my Mimic dead, no heals, low on health. Elden Beast almost dead. I've been fighting for days and coming close many times. Suddenly I stagger and visceral. My finale on stream was with the Yo Kids Dancing Blade with the Executioner sword. I was down on healing. I had just gotten pummeled by a couple attacks I didn't dodge very well. I roll up real close onto the boss, fully charge the drill sword, and throw it into him. And killed him. Regal has an animation where it heals by absorbing the other ghost creatures around it. I must have killed this thing way too fast. I don't remember those moves at all. Or maybe... No, I had to have killed it because you need it for the achievement. And I... And it drops the remembrance of the regal ancestor. You get the winged great horn, which is an axe. Okay, I did kill this. I must have just gutter stomped this. You can kill it very fast. Okay, I must have come back later on and killed it very quickly and not see anything that it does. But I can't rate it lower than the Ancestor Spirit. I don't think that's fair. Alright. Renala. Is Renala a great boss? She has a unique phase 1, very similar to the Deacons from Dark Souls 3. Her phase 2 is kind of cool because she does a lot of summoning and cast spells. So she fights kind of like the player. Her transition's really cool from phase 1 to phase 2. Phase 1 is a gimmick, yeah. I like the area for phase 2. Very Bloodborne for phase 2, right? Like, is it Rom the vacuous spider? Oh no, I think Rom you fight... Well, it's similar to Rom's arena, where it's like shallow water and the moon, and that's it. That's the whole arena. She summoned... This is a cool song. She summons a dragon. I want to summon a dragon. I would love to have a dragon summon. I was in awe at the phase 2 arena. I was just like, oh, she summons spirit wolves. I have spirit wolves. And then after spirit wolves, she summons a bloodhound knight. And I was like, wait, I fought one of those as a boss. And then she follows that up with a troll. And I'm like, oh, she's just throwing everything at me. That was so cool. But, I mean, she's also very easy to stagger because she's wearing cloth armor. So it was nice to just unga bunga her and knock her out of her spell casting. But she does a good job of keeping you away, so it's not like... so it's not like fighting Gideon often where you can bully him. First time I fought her, me and two someone's wrecked her so fast I didn't know she summoned. I beat her on my first try on the stream, and I killed her before she could summon the dragon, but she died after she had cast the summon sigil, and the shadow of the dragon appeared and roared, and then it said, "Great enemy felled," or whatever, and I was like, oh, that was so close. Royal Knight Loretta? I think we put Halig Knight Loretta okay, so I think Royal Knight deserves to be okay. I don't think I can rate it higher than Loretta. It's still Loretta. Royal Revenant, putting that at bad. The Revenants... Either I never figured out what the trick is to the Revenants, but I don't feel like they have a good dodge pattern. Like, I could never get any timing down where I could, like... I could dodge... Like, there's one attack where they, like, lunge, lunge, lunge. And then, like, they hold and then do another lunge. Wait a minute, where's Melania? I put Melania at okay. There were things that we liked about Melania, and there's things that we hated about Melania. So, I couldn't rate her higher. And she's just extremely frustrating. Revenants can be cheesed with heal spells. Does that trivialize them entirely, or is it like using Mog's Shackle or Margit's Shackle, where you like stun them temporarily? I should play a Faith character one time, just so I can walk up to a Revenant and be like, heal, and then it does whatever it does in reaction to heals. I always use a heal spell in the Revenants in the way I'm dealing with the hands. They teleport around too, which is also frustrating to deal with. So you can't like lock them down and stun lock them to death, because they'll be like, oh, you hit me 2 times? Poof. And then they'll come out of the teleport like already lunge attacking you. It does a lot of damage. 3 white mages, it'll never work. Alright, if heal magic does a lot of damage to them, I'm going to try a Faith character and just blast them. Hey, what's up, Baron? The healing spell takes out half their life and stuns them, letting you cast another one before they get up? So healing magic does just absolutely trivialize them. That's so stupid. What's the cheapest... Well, no, you'd have to have 10 faith to use an incantation, use a sacred seal, right? What's the weakest heal in the game? Is it urgent heal? 8 faith. But you need a seal to cast it, right? Sacred seal. Finger seal requires 10. Erdtree seal requires 40. Golden tree requires 17. Gravelstone 18. Giant 14. Godslayer 27. Clawmark 10. Dragon 10. Urgent heal doesn't work. Oh, do you have to use an AoE heal and catch them in the AoE? I guess that makes sense. Oh, the Frenzied Flame Seal has no stat requirements? There you go. You can cast Urgent Heal with 8 faith, even though it doesn't work on them. But the Frenzied Flame Seal will let you cast incantations, and it doesn't have a stat requirement. Regen spells also damage him, acts like poison. Oh, that's cool. Okay, let's not get too distracted. Back to the tier list. Rune Bear. God, Rune Bears are eternally frustrating. I'm putting them under Meth, though, because they're beatable. They just have a lot of health. And they're decently predictable. They just do a lot of damage. Oh, and we're on the last row. We're on the home stretch. Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. I think we put Rykard under great. The only thing that I think stops him from being amazing is he's a gimmick. You pick up the God-slaying serpent spear, sword spear, in the arena, and you equip it, and then it's cake. You just do the wind magic on him. But he has such a cool phase transition from phase 1 to 2. Together we shall devour the very gods. Oh my god, such a cool voice. Together. And he reaches his gnarly hand into the broken head of the snake that you fought in phase 1. and he pulls out this sword that's like all these like sickly little arms hanging off of it. Tagyada. Oh my god, such a amazing, amazing presentation. Do you think he deserves to be amazing? I'm gushing about him. Maybe he does deserve to be amazing. Even if the fight, I don't know, I guess it is fun to have this god-slaying weapon that activates against the boss. And it's like, all right, you can use, it's anime mode time. You unlock your true potential. And you just go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I like how the Serpent Hunter is an actual weapon you can use instead of the weapon art. You have to charge like the Yorm fight. The Yorm fight was tricky because of the weapon art. If you were someone who didn't have any FP, then you could run out of the weapon art. Turns the arena to hell. Oh yeah, he's got like an enrage timer like a World of Warcraft boss. Anytime he casts that blasphemy spell where all the flaming skulls come raining down on you, that was death for me. Like, I could not out DPS that because I was either dodging too much or healing too much. Or if I tried to ignore it, I would just die right away. So he was like a World of Warcraft boss that was like, you took too much time. Just nukes the whole arena. Yeah, Rykard's cool. Sanguine Noble? Meh. Because it just becomes a regular recurring enemy. Same thing with the Scaly Misbegotten. Ooh, Sir Gideon Ofnir, the All-Knowing. You can stop the skull face entirely by staggering him with the weapon art. Yeah, I found just doing charge heavy attacks with the spear, you can like basically perma stun lock him, and you do so much damage that you don't let him transition to the skull phase. That does not stop him from being any less cool though. So I put all the other tarnished bosses under meh. Do we disrespect Sir Gideon Ofnir and put him under meh? Or is he at least okay? Oh, it's kind of satisfying to beat him, so maybe he should be better than okay. I don't think he's great, though. I don't think I could put Gideon, like, above Malenia or any of the commanders. I think he's just okay. You think he deserves better than okay? I mean, you fight him like a tarnished. I mean, he uses the same spells and stuff that you get access to. Sir Gideon, the long-winded speech. I love that you can interrupt his speech and just smack him right into the fight. Gideon is neat, but he's easy. I do like the mechanic of you fight the hidden demigods. You tell them where you go back to the round table and you say, hey, I fought Mog, and you know, I found his great rune. He says, oh great, here's a thing, and then he rewards you. And then later you fight him and he's like, oh hey, you know how you fought Malenia and you told me she's in Elphael, the Brace of the Halleck Tree? Yeah, guess what? Scarlet Aeonia. And you're just like, oh my god, he's using the moves from the bosses. But they're the same moves that you would get from the Remembrances too. I thought it was pretty cool. He turns into a spell spammer if you let him finish the speech. That's true, he does use a lot of magic. But he's still a tarnished. So that means we can backstab him. And punish him for trying to use a flask. Alright. Soldier of Godric is absolutely amazing. Right? Oh my god, it's so funny that this is on the list. Oh, I'm putting him under amazing for the meme, obviously. Oh crap, we're at 11 o'clock. Alright, we got 7 more to go. 7? Can I count? 8 more to go. Alright. Spirit Color Snail. I kind of want to put this one under meh. Because you encounter these as regular enemies in the Halig Tree. And they summon Crystallians. Oh my god. You fight another one that summons a Crucible Knight in a catacomb, and then you kill the Crucible Knight and it reveals the Spirit Color Snail. And then, oh my god, there's a cave where they summon a Godskin duo, but it's one after the other and not at the same time. The gimmick with the Crucible Knight was fun. Hey, what's up, Gondola? The Berserk Booty Bomb Banqueter. It's kind of a shame that Dung Eater isn't a boss. I'm gonna put it under meh. Because all the things that it summons is meh or bad. Oh, Star Scourge Radon. He's probably amazing, right? Radon has a whole festival dedicated to him. A cutscene before you even get down and fight him. So you also have the whole elevator trip to think about your impending death. You have all of the summons of everyone in the lands in the lands between that are like, all right, we're all here to kill Radon. Let's go. You got Blythe, Alexander, Lionel, all of them. Amazing or great. See, I don't know if he should be in the great tier. I think he is amazing. Raid boss Radon. The phase transition. Oh, yeah, where he just, like, leaps up and turns himself into a meteorite and just comes crashing down. Boom. Yeah, I think amazing is good. Based on the lore. He is also a little creepy because he's a cannibal. Alright, Stone Digger Troll is under meh. One of the few bosses that's fun to fight on horseback and off horseback. I tried horseback and Radon a couple times, and I could not... I guess I couldn't figure out the timing on it. I just felt like being on Torrent was a liability for that fight. Tibia Mariner. I know these change as we fight them, but it just felt like find the Tibia Mariner, beat on it a bunch, and then it gets up and teleports to the other side of the pond that you're fighting it in, and rinse and repeat. Like the Doot Skelly. Yeah, exactly. There was no like, oh, attack the skeletons and damage the HP bar, which could have been cool. Like, give it the Deacon Queen Renala kind of treatment, where I'm a summoning based character, you have to fight my summons. Oh yeah, Soul. I don't know if the chat will let you post your friend's Twitch link, but if you want me to tweet it out, send it to me on Twitter. I'd be happy to get your friend's charity stream some more visibility. All right, guys, we're down to the last 4. I didn't think this would take so long. I kind of wanted to play a little bit of Elden Ring tonight, but Maybe we'll play some tomorrow or Saturday. And we'll start the Voldo character, the fist claw character. Tree Sentinel. I'm gonna put under okay. I know I was hyped when I fought the Tree Sentinel the first time. First boss was difficult. Got a little bit better when I played it on when I fought him on Torrent. And then it was like this epic jousting fight going back and forth. Armor set is amazing. Yeah, I have to agree. The golden armor does look really cool. Oh, you get the shield too, which I think has a spell reflect. Hang on, I have to look that up. Is it the Erd Tree shield? Erd Tree Great Shield. Golden Retaliation. Dispels sorceries and incantations retaliating with golden power. Golden Halberd is really good. Oh yeah, didn't Asmongold basically beat the game using the Golden Halberd? Like, he got it off the Tree Sentinel and tried it out. I was like, oh, this thing is actually really good. And it is legitimately one of the best halberds in the game. And I think it buffs itself too. Or it has a buffing weapon art. Golden Halberd. Golden Vow. Oh, okay. It's the same Golden Vow that you can find later. Increases damage by 12.5. Oh, and it adds 7.5 to damage negation. I didn't realize that about Golden Vow. And grants self and nearby allies. So you can summon co-op and your spirit summons all get buffed by it. Dual wielding halberd jump build. Hey, I know we want to mock people for using jump attacks, but there's armor sets that synergize with jump attacks. There's talismans that synergize with jump attacks. And jump attacks are really good. There's a lot of builds that focus on aiming to do jump attacks. I have a Dex Arcane character I'm playing. He uses 2 curved swords. Because the jumping attack with those, your character does this like flourish with them. And it's a 4-hit combo if you land the whole flourish, which is basically an instant bleed on everything. So even on some like weapon sets, doing jump attacks is necessary because the otherwise you do a regular or attack and you just do 2 hits, which is half as many hits to trigger bleeds. I want my knight armor from Dark Souls 3, the one burned and found in the swamp with the crabs. Oh, the Exile armor set, I think is what you're talking about. It costs less FP than incantation version. Yeah, but there's an Ash of War version, isn't there? Or is this the spell? Jump builds are definitely fun to use. I'm gonna warn you guys that the Fist Claw character is probably gonna use a lot of jump attacks. Okay, there is a Golden Vow Ash of War. But there's also a Golden Vow spell too. They really liked their Golden Vow. 40 FP lasts 45 seconds. It's the Golden Halberd is a really good starting somber weapon to get. Jump builds the Unga Bunga build. Kinda. What I think of Astel? I put Astel under great, I believe. And I put both versions because I don't think there's anything different between the 2 Astels you fight. But they're so unique in their presentation. their theme with the cosmos and everything is really cool. I think what stops them from being amazing is they're kind of frustrating as an Unga Bunga character, but and they're not really reused a whole lot. You have the two Astels and then the two or three like partially formed ones that throw the rocks at you in a couple of spots. The legendary version's the weaker one. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, the one that drops the remembrance, that's right. But I really thought Astel's really cool. It was one of my favorite bosses. Because otherwise, forget Elden Beast. Astel is the only boss that isn't like a human or an animal. I guess Miranda the Blighted Bloom is a flower, but that's like a regular enemy, so it's hard for me to count that as a boss. But like everything else is, it's on 2 legs or 4 legs, you know? They're just similar-ish. I guess this isn't like a really strong. Dragons are kind of different, right? But no, Astel is this like, he's got a skull with a fracture in the head with a giant eyeball in it. He has those giant creepy mandibles, a body made of bubbles and a stinger tail, and like, oh my god, he's so cool and creepy and otherworldly. Oh, I guess I'm not being fair to the putrid tree spirits either. Oh, I'll put the ulcerated tree spirit under okay. I found the tree spirits, I like them as boss fights. And I skipped over this when we talked about the putrid one earlier too. They get used a lot, but they're weird enough, like Amygdala, I guess, from Bloodborne, where their body is all mangled and weird, but they're still a good boss. Astel has the same eyes as the full-grown Falling Star Beast. It has the same mandibles too, right? They both have those giant claw things. But I always thought the tree spirits were a pretty good fight. The only one that was bad was the one you have to fight in the rot pond. But the rest of them are decent. I think someone mentioned that they like to clip into things. But I found out when they clip into walls, like their AI just goes, oh, well, we locked ourselves in this spot. And then it just lets you beat it up until it dies. But they're good bosses. And I remember fighting the first one in Stormvale Castle and the lower part, making your way towards Godwin's face. And it bursts out of the ground. I mean, their presentation is pretty good, and they're pretty scary, and they're pretty wicked. But I think by this point in the game, I've gotten their attack pattern down pretty good, that I feel like a pro when I fight one. And I think that's a good element to a boss, is like, can you learn from it? You know, or is it just a DPS race and you try to chug past the damage that it does? Jump scare entrance. Yeah, it's a good presentation. And as much as I hate the grab attack's a cool animation. I mean, it coils away from you, curls up the arena, and it comes roaring at you with its jaws open, and it snatches you up and then gulp. I mean, it's kind of cool. And it stomps around and stuff. Valiant Gargoyles, I'm going to put under meh. I think the Valiant Gargoyles are the gargoyle duo you fight with D. I hate gargoyles. Like, I hate the Deathbirds. The gargoyles are probably worse because they resist so much stuff. But again, their body is just shaped so weird that even if you break their poise, it can be difficult to be on the perfect height with the head in order to trigger the critical attack. So that's frustrating. And then when you fight the duo on that waterfall area, I think one of them can get stuck up on the upper cliff, and then you just can't finish the fight. I do not like the poison breath attack they do. It's so hard to see. The gargoyles have a poison breath? I've never seen that. I just hate fighting the gargoyles in general. Their weapons are good. You know, I looked at their weapons on paper and I was like, oh yeah, these look like they have decent scaling and stuff. But I never made... I think the good ones, like the ones you get from the Kindred... What is it called? The Black Blade Kindred Gargoyle. I think it has faith scaling because it adds holy damage to it. But my quality character, I didn't go for their weaponry. Halberd has S strength scaling. Oh, maybe if we do a pure strength character, we'll get the Halberd. All right, guys. Last boss. A little anticlimactic because it's worm face. And I absolutely hate the worm faces. They are going under bad. The worm faces are tall and skinny, so their hitbox is terrible. And they have an instant death attack. Oh my god. Instant death is the most frustrating mechanic to deal with because it's just pop and you're dead. And it would be okay if it had a targeted one, and it does. I think it has an attack where it like vomits a death cloud at you and you can strafe around it to get away from it. But it has another one where it does this shudder and it tilts its head back and it just burps death cloud up and around and all over itself and the area around it, and the clouds linger for so long. So you just sit around and wait for the cloud to disappear before you can go in and do a couple more attacks. Or if you're... is it your vitality? I don't know what the stat that determines your death cloud resistance, but man, if you don't get out of the cloud soon enough, you can just poof and die. I think on my larval tier video, I included the clip from Mount Gelmir where you fight the worm face that drops the larval tier. But I killed it just as it kills me with a death blight cloud at the exact same time. Because I fought it against one of those spiked fence walls, and then it burped up its death cloud, and I was trapped between its body and the wall, and I couldn't run out of the death cloud, so I just said, well, I might as well just try to kill this thing before it kills me, and we killed each other at the same time, and I got the larval tier, but it was still just like... They have a lot of health, too. The boss one especially, but... yeah, they're worse than the basilisks. At least the basilisks die in like 2 to 3 hits. And they do the targeted clouds. And they don't sit in the cloud the whole time, because then they'll hop up and they'll hop out. Or you can hit them and then run out of the cloud before the cloud drifts over you. The basilisks have more counterplay. The worm faces are just... I don't know. I don't like them. I'm putting them under bad. But... yeah, hey guys, there we go. All 100 and something bosses in Elden Ring in 3 hours. Hey, I had never done anything like this before, so this was a lot of fun. Got to talk a lot about Elden Ring and the lore, and help some people with playing the game and getting back into the game. So that's always nice. I like helping people. So maybe I'll make more guides to the game. Lol, jeez. Yeah. Hey, we've just been hanging out, Fee-Fi Fona. I wanted to try something different than just, sitting down and playing a game for 3 hours, so... a lot more talking, and I think conversating, going back and forth with chat on which bosses we liked and mechanics and where they belonged on the tier. Miyazaki saw our complaints about basilisks and gave us worm face. Yeah. Now rank the waifus. Oh, who are all the waifus in the game? Rodrika, Ronnie, Millicent, Melania, Melina, Renala. Who else counts as a waifu? Fia. Can't forget about Fia. I'm just remembering the line from Ronnie where she says, "Tell Blythe and EG that I love them." Oh, how can I forget about Nefeli Liu? Yeah. And the comic is like, "What about Saluvis?" And she's like, "Did I stutter?" Marika, sorta. Yeah, sorta. You don't really see a whole lot of her. You see enough, though. Oh, what about Latenna, the Albinaric? She's kind of cute. She likes dogs. Or, how about Anastasia, Tarnished Eater? Are we a fan of her? Melania's waifu because she goes naked? Yeah. If that's what it takes to make a waifu for you. I think I like Nefeli Liu. Nefeli was like, "Hey, Godric is, he's a disgrace, and let's go kill him." It's like, all right, yeah, cool. And she's like, "Yeah, I've got 2 battle axes that summon lightning," and I'm like, "Oh, you're really cool. Let's go." And then later on, you hear about a guy named Horalu, and you go, "Wait, hang on a second. Is Nefeli related?" Yeah, I don't know, Melina or Ronnie or maybe Millicent. I forgot he was in the intro. Oh, you forgot who was in the intro. Oh, Horalu was in the intro? Oh yeah, it goes Horalu of the Badlands and it shows him with a spear through his chest. Like, who the heck did that to him? Imagine if Nefeli had a Godric-like fight. Oh, I hope she wouldn't. Oh, you mean if Nefeli had a Godfrey-like fight? You don't want her like Godric, because then she'd be all grafted and stuff. Actually, yeah, just redo the Horalu fight, but with Nefeli. She kills her, she kills her Stormhawk, which was holding back her fighting spirit. Now I fight as Nefeli Liu, warrior! Does that work? She discards her 2 axes, and then she comes at you wrestling style too. She has like a drop kick attack. Oh god, that'd be pretty cool. Make her a boss of the DLC. All right. Well, guys, I hope you had fun hanging out with me while we judged all of the bosses in Elden Ring. It is coming up on 11:30 my time, so that means I got to wrap things up here and get ready for bed and another day of work tomorrow. Since we didn't get to play Elden Ring tonight, I might do a stream tomorrow. Don't hold me to it. And if I don't get to it tomorrow, there's a better chance it'll happen Saturday. But other than that, Friday I will be on a VTuber game show It's like Hollywood Squares except with VTubers. And I will be the contestant, and I will be versus chat. So, I won't be streaming it over here. I'll be instead telling everyone, hey, go over to the Twitch channel so that way you guys can participate in the chat, and you guys can try to beat me at VTuber Squares. So that's what's going on Friday. Thanks for the stream. I turned into an hour later. Hey, I'm glad you like the stream, Trappist. Have a good night, Fee-Fi Fona. So I will try to get the message out about your friend's charity stream. I think that's a good cause. I don't know much about Elden Ring, but it was fun to listen. Well, I'm glad you had fun listening, Fee-Fi Fona. I'm going to be sprinkling in some more one-shot games in the future onto the schedule, so the people are like, oh, all Will does is play triangle strategy in Elden Ring. It's like, yeah, we'll drop a couple of new things in here every once in a while, keep things fresh. All right, you take care, King Spawn. I'm going to go walk Rocky now, guys, so have a good rest of your night. Have a good day tomorrow, and I hope to see you guys Friday for VTuber Squares if you don't have anything else going on Friday. And EDF. Oh, EDF is a ton of fun. I will not apologize for that. And you don't need to know much about it. It's not so story or lore heavy. It's just kill giant bugs. And it's also a good game to play with other streamers too. So, all right. Okay. I'm going to head off now before I get distracted again. So, hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you next time.